thing, but how did I not know? Today is a birthday of Sir John Fletcher of the Hog Story Fletchers. 37 years young, just getting better. Right, Fletcher? That's what they tell you? You're just getting better? It's a lie. From here on out, it's all downhill. But happy birthday. As easy as they look. But that's going to do it for another episode of the No Agenda Rock and Roll Pre-Show. Thanks to all of you sick, twisted trolls for tuning in, turning it up, annoying your neighbors, and, of course, trolling along. It's very much appreciated. But it is now time for the main event, the Sunday morning service of the best damn podcast in the universe and the final No Agenda before Election Day. Call your friends, call your neighbors, call your sons, call your daughters. This is the last chance that their amygdala can be healed in time. I will be back come hell or high water on Thursday to rock through the pleasure and or the pain. I hope you can join me. But until then, I am Darren O'Neill, and these are my last few words. Save us, Podfather. You're our only hope.
No.
Agenda.
In the
morning.
It is the best podcast.
Are.
Thank you, Mr. Darren O'Neill. Seamless handover in the morning, everybody. You are connected to Austin, Texas.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for your Gitmo Nation National Anthem.
In the morning, Gitmo Nation, we are all charged up to be human resources and servants in all lands and all ships at sea. From the east to west, down under to the lowlands and beyond. We are happy and distracted slaves. Hear our Gitmo Nation song. In the morning! Trump haters got no
Trump haters got no reason to live. They got little minds, shifty eyes. They walk around telling great big lies, wearing pussy hats, grinding their teeth, telling us how things are going to be. Don't want no Trump haters. Don't want no Trump haters. Don't want no Trump haters round here. Trump haters are not the same as you and I. Patriots such as I. It's not that false, seeing it open wise. Fake news is why Trump haters got nobody. Trump haters got nobody. Trump haters got nobody to love. They got safe spaces where they run and hide, crying their eyes out, scream at the sky. They got sanctuary, free stuff for all. Socialist leaders stopping the wall, taking our free speech and our guns too, burning our flag on red, white, and blue. Don't want no Trump haters. Don't want no Trump haters. Don't want no Trump haters round here.
Yes, Randy Newman. He's happy. Yo, yo, yo. In the morning, Monsieur Dvorak. Hello? 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 You are on mute. Okay, hello?
Well, when you mute me, you're getting the mute.
Yeah, when I mute you, you're muted.
Then I go, whoa.
Bull?
Can you turn off the stream for you?
stream is back on. Let me just do this here. Do. Go. Boom. Okay. Could I get a proper level from you?
Yeah, let me adjust the chair. And let me get
2. 1, 2. So making sure I'm not breaking through.
breaking through to the other side. Hundreds of Trump supporters stuck on freezing cold Omaha airfield after rally.
That lady!
Perfect.
That bitch! Valkyrie!
It's the Noah Agenda Show, by the way.
All right, everybody, it is time once again to ride with the Valkyries as we release the bat signal. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, baby. It's all ready to go. Are you there? Oh, you all right? Huh. What is this shit?
Ready?
Nope. Hold on. Got some kind of nasty sound here. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready, Teddy, go, man, go. Hit it.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, November 1st, 2020. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1291.
This is No Agenda.
Enjoying a 1,000% match and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where their polls tell us that the No Agenda show's leading in Pennsylvania, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Man, did you see that? Did you see the crowds in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
No, not wearing masks, not social
Oh, well, no, of course not. I mean, wait. Did I have that? It wasn't an article? Where was I reading this? Gosh. Somewhere it was like a mainstream article. Oh, here it is. No, Stanford study links Trump rallies to 700 COVID deaths. Yeah, baby. He's killing his voters. He can never win this way.
Yeah, you can't win. You kill your people off.
It's unbelievable.
Well, if you want to, I want to announce that this is our Election Day special.
Oh, this is correct. We have special producerships even for this episode.
Yes. And we can push off the discussion of that and do a little COVID rap.
Yeah, I need to do a little COVID rap. Local COVID.
Keep people going.
Yeah.
I have a
Can
maybe two or three
Can I start
clips.
with a local story? Local story.
I think local becomes global.
Local is global. Not exactly local. It's El Paso, so it's Texas local. You recall that El Paso has a curfew, 2-week curfew. Everyone stay home. We've got cases on the rise. What's going on? How can it be? We got the hospitals are overflowing. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Well, isn't that interesting?
Hold on.
Yes, I'm leading into
Before
a clip.
we play your clip, then, the way you led into it,
Yeah.
you're going to have to play my clip, the COVID Texas mess.
Oh, this is perfect. I love it when two clips come together.
In Texas, El Paso County has ordered
I'm sorry, does it need setup?
No, I was just going to say it's our friend Amy.
Oh, well, I couldn't tell from the voice.
In Texas, El Paso County has ordered a 2-week lockdown of non-essential businesses as a surge of COVID-19 patients has left medical workers overwhelmed and hospitals nearing capacity. Meanwhile, the Washington Post reports over 40,000 residents have died of COVID-19 in nursing homes that were given a clean bill of health by the Trump administration. The Post found the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services cleared nearly 8 out of 10 nursing homes of any infection control violations, even homes with mounting coronavirus outbreaks before or during the inspections.
Yes, the surge. Oh, my goodness, lockdown. Okay. What could be going on?
Couple of things. She made it sound as though 40,000 people had just died in nursing homes thanks to Trump.
That's very much the way it sounds.
Yeah, and the other one was, aren't all hospitals supposed to be nearing capacity because that's kind of their business model?
Yeah, it's like airlines. They want as many of the seats filled as possible, and it's completely dynamic. And also, when they say, well, in this case, she didn't say ICU, but there's somewhere between 6 and 10% of all ICU beds are reserved for COVID now, or ICU units. Yeah. So it's all disingenuous. It's half the information.
It's half the information, but since we played that, we might as well play the rest of her.
Well, wait, can I stick with Texas?
No, we're going to go back to Texas. I'm going to say this because I want to get these out of because I want to make sure we're all in a fearful mood before you start talking specifics.
Good. Yeah, I want you to be very afraid. Yes, okay.
So this is the curve. This is how that Texas part she just did was a follow-up to this, which was, if you didn't know it, this is the worst it's ever been.
The United States confirmed nearly 90,000 new cases of coronavirus Thursday, the worst toll of the U.S. epidemic so far.
Wow. She's equating cases to a toll, as in a death toll. Nice.
You noticed that use of the word toll.
Oh, yeah, for whom the bell tolls, Amy.
The worst toll of the U.S. epidemic so far, with an average of 1 new infection every second of the day. 43 states are seeing cases rise, with 17 states breaking records for hospitalizations and 8 states reporting record daily cases. This is Dr. Ashish Jha, Dean of Brown University School of Public Health.
Well, things are very, very bad in the United States right now. We are having some of the largest outbreaks that we've had during the entire pandemic. And 9-10 months into this pandemic, we are still largely not quite prepared.
Right. Okay. So even before I can go into Texas, I would like to say that we had a little viral moment. Tom Woods from the Tom Woods Show. He and I have we DM a little bit from time to time. You know, we share information. He's been all over the bogativity of certainly of testing. His most recent episode on the Tom Woods Show is about PCR processing. And so I gave him the This Week in Virology clip from our show, and which he tweeted. Now I think he's got 90,000 followers, and they're real followers. He didn't buy them. So that was kind of nice. We got a little thing going on there. And, you know, obviously the way this is presented has very little to do with an outbreak or a horrible toll. It is testing. And I came to a conclusion that it's really remember the R0, the R0 number, which we talked about way in the beginning of March, which was the, if you have a 1 or above, that means that for every person who's infected, they will infect more than one other person.
3.
Yeah,
it was 3 was the number.
So with this testing, with the PCR process, which is still in place, what happens is for every person who has a positive result come back from the lab, it automatically triggers at least 5 new tests because of the contact tracing. It will never end this way. And if you had an R0, or if you had an R replication of 5 for the virus, yeah, we would be looking at death. I don't think 3, I think, was the highest that they had, or at some point. So it's a never-ending story, and there's a lot of people benefiting from it and having a good time. So back to El Paso, you heard it's the worst toll ever. What could be going on? How is this possible? We're also so safe and we're all so careful. Well, please note that El Paso is a border town, and we have some whistleblowers.
El Paso is making international headlines for the COVID outbreak here as emergency responders are being recognized across the nation today.
El Paso Fire Department, are you guys picking up a COVID non-citizen?
El Paso firefighters in the trenches of the COVID-19 pandemic cannot talk on the record about the number of people they're picking up every day from El Paso's international bridges. But a whistleblower inside the fire department spoke to me exclusively on condition of anonymity.
There are some days where it's only 3 or 4 times, other days there will be 13 or 14 responses there. You'll be there for one patient, and then customs will let you know, hey, there's another one coming up right behind you, and another one. sometimes, there'll be 4 or 5 waiting in line.
As a result of what appears to be escalating ambulance responses to the international bridges by the El Paso Fire Department, our source insists the city of El Paso is being left in a dangerously vulnerable position.
Sierra Providence East showing disaster, Providence Memorial showing busy, Providence Transmonte showing severe, UMC showing severe.
So what's happening is there are people showing up on the other side of the border at these international bridges, as they're known, and the fire department and ambulances are just picking them up. It's really sick people who are in Mexico, and they're bringing them across the border into the El Paso hospitals, which is okay. But let's not make it look like stupid Americans in El Paso. Oh, we're all going to die because we're not socially distancing.
It costs $1,000 for one ambulance run. Who's picking up the tab for all these people?
That is one of the questions that has been asked and not yet answered. And in fact, you kind of heard it at the beginning. Are you guys picking up foreigners, the fire department? So I believe it's the commercial ambulance services, and they're getting paid. I think when they arrive, they just get a check at the hospital. Hey, good work. Here's a check.
We'll be right back.
We got some more. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, you're going to run into problems if that was not expected. And it doesn't mean that these people don't need help. Doesn't mean that they aren't actually sick. But let's not pretend like we're all dickheads here in Texas. Man, there's a number of things happening with testing. First, let's play some scary testing music.
If someone refuses in our facilities to be tested, they have to keep staying. So they won't be able to leave after 14 days. They have to stay on for another 14 days. So it's a pretty good incentive. You either get your tests done and make sure you're cleared, or we will keep you in the facility longer. So I think most
Get your tests done. Get your tests done. Something is changing.
Slow down doesn't work on her.
No, it doesn't work on her. Something is changing in the testing regimen, as Health and Human Services, led by General Girard, is rolling out massive antigen tests, the antibody tests. These are rapid tests, and these are from Abbott. They're called the Binax Now test. And I've three real short reports just so you can understand how vast this rollout is.
This is the Binax Now Rapid Antigen Test Card. And the head of the United States COVID testing strategy, Admiral Brett Girard, says you or your child will likely be asked to use one before this global health crisis is resolved.
The ideal use of these tests are really for large-scale screening because that's what they're meant for. They could be done at point of care. You can get the results within 15 minutes.
It's not clear yet who exactly will get the tests. Schools and nursing homes are obvious priorities.
The Binax test could easily be used to screen students or hockey players or staff going into nursing homes. It's that good frontline test that can be done basically anywhere.
Accuracy and false positives are always a concern. Admiral Girard has high confidence in the Binax Now rapid tests.
It's very sensitive, 97% compared to the best test, 98% specific.
More testing will uncover more infection, but the Admiral says that's a good thing.
It is true. The more testing you do, the more cases you will find. We want to do that. Because when we find that case, we can isolate them, contact trace, keep that one case from turning into 50.
Yeah, so there's some confusion.
Hold on a second. There's an interesting little quote there.
Yeah, there is.
He says the most testing we do, the most cases we'll find. That's true. That's what Trump's been saying, and every time he says the same exact thing, they condemn him.
Well, here's what's... well, first of all, two more, just to show you how wide this is rolling out. This is... see, where is this from? I think this is Arkansas.
We learned today the Arkansas Department of Education has placed Harp Elementary School on a list of 14 schools across the state to receive rapid antigen testing for staff. Soon, Harp Elementary School, along with Greenwood High School, Greenwood Junior High, and Northside High School in Fort Smith, will be among the first schools in the state with access to rapid antigen testing for teachers and staff.
And in Florida?
Florida will receive a steady flow of a new COVID-19 rapid test. Federal health officials say today the state will begin getting about 6.5 million Binax tests in total. They're less invasive and don't need a lab to get results in 15 minutes or less. Florida will have received about 2.3 million of the tests from U.S. Health and Human Services by week's end.
Now, I believe that the Trump administration is rolling these out massively, and there's millions. I think already 3 million of these Binax tests are being deployed. It is not a PCR process, which is the good news. In fact, the test itself will give false negatives quicker than they will false positives, from what I understand. So just hearing Gerard speak, oh, yeah, that's what we want. I think the idea is we're going to actually lower the can you turn your speakers down just a little bit for me, please? I think that we're going to see much lower case count because it's a different process, which is much more accurate based on the antibodies. This is one of the tests that I had with Rogan. I don't know I think it's a finger prick. So which sucks, by the way.
You get a finger prick?
Yeah, I got the PCR process, swab in the nose, and I got a finger prick, and in 15 minutes, and I was like, oh, okay. And it's like, it's a little plastic thing. You put your bloody finger on it, and then you wait. It's almost like a pregnancy test. If you get one pink, you're negative. If there's two pinks, you're positive. However, the bad thing about this, and we heard this from a dude named Ben who works at Abbott Labs, is it comes with an app. And it's all tied together. So the minute you do the test, your app tells you that you're clean or good to go. And, this will provide you access. And right now it's going to be voluntary. And you don't really have to take. But how long will that last? So on one hand, I think we'll see the case rate drop dramatically with the new testing. On the other hand, this is the beginning of the end when it comes to these damn apps that they're going to connect everybody to.
Can you stop the tape?
Sure, I can stop the tape.
So
what's wrong?
I'm trying to download the spreadsheet. And I notice it's been deleted from the attachments.
Oh, hold on. You want me to send you a copy?
You have it?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Gee. Usually we come prepared to school.
Well, I don't. I usually open the spreadsheet during the show, and then I go and look at this letter at the bottom. It says NA1291.XLS deleted.
Oh no! It was probably deleted by your mail server.
Deleted.
Yeah, your mail server is bonkers. It's deleting shit.
This is in the original send. You can tell. I can tell when something's been. I haven't had I'm not like you where I can't get attachments at all.
Okay. All right, John. Sure. I'm starting the tape again. Where the hell? I don't even know what we were talking about.
You were talking about getting tested and pricked.
Yeah. Hold on. God, this thing is whacked. That is not sounding good. I don't know why it's doing that. This is odd. Up dramatically with the new testing. On the other hand, this is the beginning of the end when it comes to these damn apps that they're going to connect everybody to. Okay, so the damn apps. You want to respond to that? Your chances now.
I didn't know you got pricked when you were over there at Rogan. It's all news to me.
It sucks because you feel that.
They gave you two tests.
Yeah. One was the rapid test, and the rapid tests are much more accurate.
The rapid test seems to be much more. We got a letter from, I'm not going to read it, but I may post it. It's a long note about how he went to Idaho to meet with his mother or some family members, and somebody got the COVID, and so they made him lock down. They couldn't get out of the state. They were locked down, and everybody kept taking the rapid test and were coming up negative, and so they finally got out of there.
Right. That's the rapid test is exactly. And there's and just going back to the PCR, There's a couple things in the show notes, and not that we're not gonna beat this horse over and over again, especially now since the rapid tests are coming, and I think this PCR is is going to be phased out pretty quickly.
Yeah, we're just in time, right after the election, so Joe Biden can save the day.
Exactly. There's an interesting correlation between the cycle counts and viral load, and there's some. Again, we have so many scientists sending in stuff. There's an interesting chart where you can see that indeed, really around 32, 33 cycles, the viral load is so small that it's crazy to use this as a test at all. However, still used in the good old UK, and my friend Michelle he's going broke. He's going to go 100% bankrupt. Had huge clubs in the UK, in Guildford. And, this is the latest. Hello, Boris Johnson. Let's lock it down again.
In this country, alas, as across much of Europe, the virus is spreading even faster than the reasonable worst-case scenario of our scientific advisors, whose models, as you've just seen, now suggest that unless we act, we could see deaths in this country running at several thousand a day, a peak of mortality, alas, bigger than the one we saw in April.
This is unbelievable. Because of a positive case rate, they're locking down the country for 4 weeks because the models say, well, when you have this many cases, you're going to have thousands of people a day dying, of which there's, at this moment, absolutely no evidence.
And so now is the time to take action because there is no alternative. And from Thursday until the start of December, you must stay at home. You may only leave home for specific reasons, including for education, for work, let's say if you cannot work from home, for exercise and recreation outdoors with your household or on your own with one person from another household, for medical reasons, appointments, and to escape injury or harm, to shop for food and essentials, and to provide care for vulnerable people or as a volunteer. I'm afraid non-essential shops, leisure and entertainment venues will all be closed.
All the fun stuff.
Click and collect services can continue and essential shops will remain open, so there's no need to stock up. Pubs, bars, and restaurants must close except for takeaway and delivery services. Workplaces should stay open where people can't work from home, for example, in the construction and manufacturing sectors. Single adult households can still form exclusive support bubbles with one other household, and children will still be able to move between homes if their parents are separated. I'm under no illusions about how difficult this will be for businesses which have already had to endure such hardship this year, and I'm truly, truly sorry for that. And that's why we're going to extend the furlough system through November. The furlough scheme was a success in the spring. It supported people and businesses in a critical time. We will not end it. We will extend furlough until December. Christmas is going to be different this year, perhaps very different, but it's my sincere hope and belief that by taking tough action now, we can allow families across the country to be together.
And there's that lovely veiled threat that he throws out there. Hey, we're going to close everything down until December 1st. All the fun stuff. Hey, construction workers, F you, go out there and work. But if you don't do your job, if you don't do as we tell you, well, Christmas could really suck now, couldn't it? So you better do what we're telling you to do. And my goodness, would people here in the media and in the scientific field love that for us? Here is Anthony Fauci, along with the Shep Smith on his CNBC show, it's amazing. I think I'm the only person who watches. If you look at the ratings, and
it's on at midnight or so. CNBC listeners. By the way, CNBC listeners are a very distinct group. That's why they're easy to advertise for. They watch during the stock market.
Yeah, but I'm just going to disagree with you again. This is the Shark Tank hours. What they do in the evening is very different from what they do during the day. But it's a failed.
Shark Tank is different because people do tune into that.
And that's the lead-in. He has 9 o'clock. It's a 9 o'clock show on the East Coast, and which I think means he's going head-to-head with Rachel Maddow and Sean Hannity. And he has no ratings. I mean, it's 200,000 people are watching, but here's what Shep really wants.
Earlier today, you talked to the Journal of the American Medical Association, or JAMA, and you were talking about what an extraordinary thing has happened in Melbourne. They had a 111-day lockdown, started with 20,000 cases a day, and as you pointed out, 2 days ago, they had 0 cases. Why can't we do that?
Yeah. When you talk about lockdowns, that certainly they were extremely successful.
What? Extremely successful? No, there's no evidence. In fact, there's counter evidence they were extremely successful. Just as many, if not more, people died in countries that have been locked down. And of course, it's not really COVID. It's all kinds of other things that are counted as COVID. But okay, thanks, Anthony.
There is very little appetite for lockdown in this country.
That's right.
There's going to be a major pushback, both from above and at the local level.
Yes, unless Joe Biden wins, then it will be Build Back Better and James...
Lock down better.
James Dellingpod of... he writes for Daily News, and I think he's written for The Guardian in the past. He was on Sky Australia. And you'll notice that it's all the Rupert Murdoch properties that are kind of going against the grain. Fox News, New York Post, Daily Mail, Sky. This is all Murdoch. Just wanted to point that out. And here he is talking about what really is going on with the lockdowns and the Build Back Betters.
I started off this pandemic thinking it was just people being a bit stupid and it would all pass. But now I realize that this is organized. And you rightly mentioned the Great Reset.
Just now?
Hey, they don't listen to the No Agenda show, but at least...
Hold on. Did he say I just now?
No, I don't think he said that.
Rightly mentioned the Great Reset. Anyone who doesn't realize that...
Right, let's go back a little.
Just people being a bit stupid and it would all pass. But now I realize that this...
Well, now I realize. But
now.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm just confirming what we already know.
It's organized. And you rightly mentioned the Great Reset. Anyone who doesn't realize that the Great Reset is the biggest threat to our way of life right now hasn't been paying attention. They take it deadly seriously, the people from the World Economic Forum, and so unfortunately do our political leaders. When you hear the phrase "build back better," and I've heard our Prime Minister use it, I've heard Joe Biden use it. This is the code phrase for the Great Reset of our lives.
And James, the World Economic Forum have been tweeting today's consumers do not want more and better goods and services. Rather, they increasingly expect companies to contribute social welfare, etc., etc. Is this all part and parcel of it?
Absolutely. Their belief is that the old world, the world that you and I, and I suspect most of your viewers really quite liked, is broken. It needs to be changed, whether we like it or not. They're claiming there that we like it. I'm not sure that we do, actually. They're talking about things like they don't want us to own property anymore. We're not going to own anything. It will be provided for us. Well, who does own the property? Who's renting it out to us? Some sort of shadowy elite. This is a takeover by the technocrats. And I urge anyone who thinks that this is a kind of conspiracy theory to do a bit of background reading. The Great Reset, the World Economic Forum, combined with UN Agenda 2030, as it's now called, is a complete transformation of our societies around the world on lines I would call communist or fascist. I mean, frankly, what's the difference? This is terrifying, much scarier than the flu, the Wu flu.
Yeah, and it's being done out in the open, and everyone's chuckling about the World Economic Forum videos where they say exactly this. And to add to that, are you familiar with the Fair Trade? The Fair Trade USA, Fair Trade Certified?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so in fact, I'll read from their website. Fair trade is a global movement made up of diverse network of producers, companies, consumers, advocates, and organizations putting people and planet first. We at Fair Trade, it's funny. People first, yeah.
How can you not laugh at this bull crap?
We at Fair Trade USA believe that everyone wants to do what's right for their families, fellow global citizens, and the planet. Well, let's listen to 15 seconds of their latest commercial.
Sometimes a simple choice can bring us one step closer to the future we believe in. Build back better. Fair trade together.
Build back better, fair trade together. Hey, I made another rhyme. It's disgusting what these people are doing. It is.
It's funny you brought fair trade, because fair trade is to me, it's always been a marketing gimmick.
Oh, I think it is. Sure.
And where it started, I think, is in the coffee trade.
Yeah, that does ring a bell,
all these little coffee and itinerant coffee growers in Guatemala and elsewhere, and they were never getting a good deal. They're getting ripped off. And fair trade was supposed to correct that inequity and kind of cut out some middlemen and give them some extra cash. That was the real impetus. And I don't think if somebody can point to me to something earlier than the coffee business,
right,
I'd be interested.
Well, it sounds to me like they're doing the marketing, exactly what you said. They're doing Build Back Better, fair trade together.
Still some poor bastard in the top of the hill trying to pick coffee beans. Give me a break.
I like the 2030 year, which of course, I've been on for quite a while, years
since the beginning.
Years. Got a note from one of our producers who says, who gave me some insight into the year 2030, as it is, according to him, important to many Christians as well, because it marks the 2000th year from the cross and the resurrection, which was approximately 30 AD. In case we need an end time primer, which I'm always happy to receive, it goes like this. First, you get 3.5 years of weird times, followed by 3.5 years of the worst times ever seen in history, and then the Antichrist reigns, aka the tribulation or the time of Jacob's troubles, followed by the triumphant return of King Jesus. And then we get 1,000 great years. So I'm not quite sure how to.
They've been shoehorning this theory into every year. Now it's okay. This is good. This is a new.
I like it. I'm sticking to it.
I can see where you can say, well, we've had the 3.5 years of weird Trump years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's been the year. And now we're going to have 3.5 bad years, and it's starting off with the COVID. We've got other pandemics and trandemics and tridemics and duodemics and all the rest of them.
The twindemics.
The twindemics, that's what I was looking for, actually. And, so we can have 3.5 weird years, and Biden will be kicked out of office because he's a moron, and you're going to 25th Amendment him and put in the laughing hyena. And so it'll be it makes sense. I think the guy, maybe you're onto something.
Well, while I'm sticking with the Christianity and with the douchebags from Davos, the World Economic Forum, I don't know if you had a chance to read the letter from Cardinal Vigano to the president.
No, I did not.
So Vigano he's a very polarizing figure, and he's been blogging, and he's one of these, hey man, this Pope is no good type of guys. And
sounds right.
He wrote an open letter to President Trump. It's in the show notes, nashownotes.com. And he said, this is all a scam, Mr. President. And he mentioned specifically Build Back Better, mentioned specifically the Great Reset for the World Economic Forum. It's fantastic. It's really.
I gotta start following this guy. Where's his blog?
And
How also, come he's not on CNBC? How come he's not on MSM? How come he's not on the TV?
I think he gets more audience with his blog than CNBC. So,
that wouldn't take much. Yeah, that's true.
Today in the United States, daylight saving time went into effect, which is, I've always said, is one of the global elites' New World Order way of making us dance like monkey boys and girls. Let's change the clock on them. One of our producers sent an interesting calculation. He said, by setting the clock back 60 minutes, since normal light change per day is 1 minute, as you move into the darker days, that 60 days really gives you a jet lag. It's almost like a reset of 2 months, 60 days reset in your circadian rhythm or your body or whatever. It's never been enough exploration of what this is doing to people.
Well, that's probably true.
It's just this. It's always like, oh, okay, whatever.
That's the way I look at it.
And having that right before the election, is always interesting. I don't know. Does it?
Oh, that's a good point. Now, there's an interesting point.
Yeah. Does it set people back?
Why would you do it just? Why would you? Because they've changed these, They never used to be this.
Oh, yeah, it was different times, absolutely.
And so now they moved it just before the election. Although with the mail-in voting, all the rest of which has now become laughable, it's doesn't make as much difference.
I see. We're almost done here with. I don't think we have much any other updates other than of course, France shutting down. It was beautiful pictures of Paris. Everyone rushing to get the heck out. The day before the full-on lockdown starts.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Boris Johnson and same with Macron.
Macron.
Don't these leaders have a sense of any obligation to really try to figure out what's really going on?
No, I think Boris Johnson.
I think they're sincere. I don't think.
No,
it's not like Boris Johnson is part of some scheme.
No, I don't think he's sincere. I think he went into the hospital and they had a chat.
Well,
they had a chat with him. Somebody had a little chat, and he came out with the Build Back Better crap. No. He's all in. He's been compromised one way or the other.
Well, the hospitalization thing, which was sketchy. I mean, when Trump went into the hospital, you saw him get out of there as fast as he could.
Well, I'd say Trump's hospital visit was pretty sketchy, too.
Could have been, but he was in, he was out. And it might even not even be the same Trump, but I'm looking at his material. It's the same guy. You can't, there's certain things you can't fake. If you're a different person, I don't think you can fake somebody's kiss. There's other aspects to the body language you can tell. But stand-up comedy, there's a certain style Trump has, and he's the same guy, so.
It was fantastic to see, and this came out. A couple of things happened on show day on Thursday. Is the record increase in GDP for the United States?
Yeah,
33%. Everybody,
33.
Yes. I love that, and I don't know how to interpret it other than pay attention. 33. There it is, our favorite number.
We've never. That's kind of the goal of the show. It's the holy grail of this No Agenda show, which is to figure out what the hell is with these 33s. And people come with all the Masonics, 33. There's something else.
Who knows what's going on? Anyway, it looks like indeed the United States is really not planning on getting or being locked down as it stands today. North Carolina, you see this, there was a city council meeting and they expected, 50, 60 people to show up. There were hundreds of people, no mask. And it was about masks. It was a mandatory mask law. And they ultimately had to, accept that people were not going to wear masks, and they had to actually move the whole meeting outside. People are pissed. They're pissed. And
not everybody.
Well, no, in New York, where the shutdown is complete, and I think this will be done with the rapid test. If you travel to New York now, you can only travel.
Do what?
Right. If for some reason you're going to New York, you need to have a test before you arrive, and if your test is negative, you must stay in 3-day quarantine and be retested on the 4th day just to make sure. And this is how crazy it's gotten.
Well, I guess I'm not going to New York this weekend.
No, why would you? And just a little boots on the ground.
City that never sleeps,
Yeah, right. Got an email from one of our producers this week. John and Adam, I became an infected human resource. I had a couple days where I felt like I had mild stomach bug. Then all of a sudden, a fever so hot I fogged my glasses. At 103, I gave in and took some Tylenol. I had a few days of fever and body aches, controllable with Tylenol. I also had some loss of taste and smell. After about 5 days, my symptoms were gone, and all that lingers is a little tiredness. My husband never caught it. I believe I caught this at work from someone who was very ill, but had tested negative. Oh, and I didn't want the PCR, so I managed to get a rapid antigen through the National Guard. They have a great testing operation. See, this is what we're talking about, 5 stars. The guardsman that gave me the result, though, thought I was crying and told me, hey, it's not a death sentence. I said, no, I just feel like crap. Don't worry about me. At the end of the day, this ended up being less than the flu. I sent a note to my doctor, and 5 days later, they bothered to reply by saying, take Tylenol. Because it's basically the flu. And she ends by saying, good thing the country shut down. Just thought I'd share. Thank you. That's pretty much par for the course of what we've been hearing.
Yeah, and Tylenol. Make sure that it's not aspirin. It should be Tylenol.
Yeah. Exactly. Tylenol. Why do we have to make sure it's...
Well, aspirin, it has to do with viral shedding or something along those lines. Aspirin kind of encourages the viruses to replicate a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Tylenol has none of those effects.
Okay. And unless
it's particularly dangerous with hemorrhagic diseases like dengue. If you take aspirin, you'll drop dead.
Don't you bleed out or something? I mean,
bleed out in your lungs. It's gone.
Immediately dead. And I hate to say it, but for all the COVID stuff we've been doing in the past months, I really don't have much more. I mean, we're into the next phase. The next phase is rapid testing, so we will see better results, less false positives, I believe, than we have with any PCR
you have to
process.
Get less.
Yes, well, we hope so.
You can't quite. This is maxed out the way it is now. This is unbelievable.
But the problem is that the app is coming into play, and this will be used everywhere. And you'll eventually, I think you'll get a rapid test at home, and you'll have to do the rapid test, and then you'll probably Bluetooth that thing to your phone. It goes back to home base, and it gives you a green QR code that you're safe to go. And just like we lost cash during this, we're going to lose these freedoms. I just can't see it. And certainly, if
time to move to North Carolina,
if Biden becomes president, I don't think it'll make much difference.
No, we'll find out. Well, while we're talking about that, I think we might as well start talking about the election.
Yeah.
Or our election day special. We need some music or at least some horns or something. Play that celebratory horn.
Okay, hold on. I do have to crank that up. It makes, it has to, there we go. It's pre-election day, everybody. We're so happy. Before we get into coverage, I'd like to play one clip. You know how Don Lemon always has the handoff with Chris Cuomo on CNN? Well, you don't, but they do. They have a handoff when Don Lemon's done.
Yeah, I know.
Their little cross chat. So Don Lemon, who apparently has lived in several what he would call red states, he's all this entire season, this entire Trump presidency. I mean, it's really hit him hard, and he has just had to take people out of his life.
You know what the sad thing is, and I'll be honest with you. I have many people who I love in my life, and yeah, I come from a red state. I've lived in several red states. There are a lot of friends who I had to really get rid of because they are so nonsensical when it comes to this issue. They have every single talking point that they hear on state TV and that they hear from this president. They repeat it and they are blinded by it. And when I said to you the other night, there's no way they can't believe it. They can't, I was just goosing you in a way, right? Where they say I was, breaking your,
Goosing works. It's not like that'll be all over. Continue.
But here's the thing. I had to get rid of them because they are too far gone. I try and I try and I try. They'll say something really stupid, and then I'll show them the science and I'll give them the information, and they still repeat those talking points. And all the while, the state was a hot spot. If you look at the information that we put up last night that came up yesterday, it showed you how the red states have now taken over where the blue states, where people came in because there are bigger cities and there's more transmission, obviously, where people are closer together. And so now the red states are the problem. And I had to get rid of a lot of people in my life because sometimes you just have to let them go. I think that they have to hit rock bottom like an addict. right? And they have to want to get help. They have to want to know the truth. They have to want to live in reality. They have to want to be responsible, not only for other people's lives, but for their lives. So you know what? It's so sad. And I don't know if after this, I will ever be able to go back and be friends with those people, because at a certain point you just say they're too far gone and I got to let them go. And if they're willing to come back and if they're willing to live in reality, then I would welcome them with open arms. But I can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't understand these people. I have to let go of them. I don't understand why they don't understand how Putin is running this country. And the Russians are controlling everything, and Putin's calling the shots.
I want to give you the opposite side of that argument. Do you remember the Hollywood media guy that I had a Zoom call with? It was, a rare kind of show business opportunity that I was looking at. And they had the license to all of my interviews and stuff from the Netherlands, all the music stuff, and they were talking about putting a TV show together, and the guy went off on, "Oh, you're in Texas? Ah! Ah! I'm in Austin. Oh, the only place you can be a Democrat." Remember this guy?
Vaguely.
Okay. And then, and after
I put that kind of person out of my life. They're too far gone.
I just want, he's from San Diego. I just wanted to, because there's a follow-on to this. So, it was like, oh, and then he went on about, because I said, well, in Texas, we don't really give a crap. We don't make a big deal about who we're voting for. And he says, "Don't you hate those hats? I hate it when they see the big cowboy hats." I said, "No."
What's wrong with this guy?
Because that's
He's
Trump.
trying to sell you?
It's Trump. So,
and this guy's a sales guy?
No, he owns thousands and thousands of hours of musical performances that he licenses.
He's just an archivist. Okay.
No, it's more than an archivist. He's a very successful business. This is huge business licensing these things.
I didn't say it disparagingly.
Just an archive? No, you're just an archivist. He licenses.
No.
He
I'm
licenses.
a successful businessman too.
Okay. So, they were trying to, so the guy in Holland who I know, and then this is his partner in San Diego, and they're trying to set up a follow-up call. And the guy says, "Hey, how about Wednesday, the 4th? And he emails back, "Wednesday morning, I'm either going to be very happy or ready to kill myself based on the election results. I'll be in no mood to talk business unless Trump loses." So the Dutch guy goes back and says, "Okay, how about Friday then?" And the guy comes back with, "If Trump loses, I will not have killed myself. So yes, I can make that." To which I replied, "I have no interest in doing any business with you. You did not
You missed the opportunity for that beautiful punchline.
I thought about it. I said, no. I said, it's a shame you didn't take the hint on our previous call. I don't mix politics with business. Your insults to my state did not go unnoticed either. I prefer to work with partners who understand appropriate business discourse. I'm withdrawing from this opportunity." To which he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend anyone." I said, "Well, now you've learned. Because I guess no one stood up to you and said, 'F you, Hollywood douchebag.'" No one
called him out for his privilege.
I tried. It didn't work. And this wasn't a joke. This was an actual business opportunity. I'm like, dude, because no one has told these people. That's what I realized, because he came back so meek. No one has said, do you realize that not everyone is like you, or we might have different ideas, or maybe we don't want to talk about politics? I'm here to talk about music licensing, not who you're voting for and what your personal issues are. And to me, it was a good example of people just accepting it. No, we have to start talking to people. And I don't care if you're pro-Trump or pro-Biden. Either way, shut up. Vote and shut up. That's my motto.
I think that's a good way of looking at it, but I think, especially if the guy's trying to do a deal, what kind of and he's a businessman, so he's collected all these licenses, which is a good business, and he's going to try to package it, but he's more interested in packaging his own opinions about Trump.
Yeah. And I just said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not interested at all in working with you at all.
That whole industry is I don't know how they got this way.
Well, he's in San Diego. That may give us a clue. But he's in the entertainment industry. I think you can't even broach the topic. You know how, John Legend, as we've heard him say, oh yes, of course I have friends who are conservatives or Republicans, but they're very quiet about it. Well, it's because of this bullying. It's this bullcrap bullying, and the guy just lost his opportunity with me. I mean, go ahead, license the stupid shit. See if someone else can make a show out of it. I'm not interested.
It won't be possible.
No, so I'm not interested in this. It's just like,
yeah, it's bullying. That's all he was doing. It was from the get-go.
Yeah,
it wasn't even though he felt you out and said, well, maybe this guy's, I don't know. He's living in Texas. Maybe he likes cowboy hats. Maybe he wears them now.
Yeah.
No. He doesn't even bother to do that. So he just starts off with a bullying attitude.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me to the C-SPAN clips.
Okay. Hello, caller. Republican line.
This is the C-SPAN call in about Trump, and this is a guy probably in an area where they're Trump support, and you can hear the problem, which is going to resolve itself on Tuesday.
Lauren, I live right up the road from Baldwin Wallace, and I take great issue with some of the comments you're making on there today. In fact, I finally had the nerve to put my Trump sign out in my front yard. My neighbors are also Trump fans, and they're too scared to because of radical Democrats. They're worried about getting a brick thrown through their window or paintballs shot at their home. And I totally disagree that where you're saying Joe Biden is leading in the suburbs. And I think that's just fake. And I think you're just trying to see what you want to see with your research. So I totally disagree with your comments, and I'd like to hear your response.
Well, here's my response. Whatever political predispositions I might have or my colleagues might have at the Community Research Institute at Baldwin Wallace University, more than anything else in the world, we want our polling to be accurate, and we take great measures to make sure that it is. And so my comments on Biden leading in the suburbs are based strictly on the data and not on my opinion. Some of the things that we do in our polls to make sure that we are not underestimating Trump support in Ohio is that we weight by education so that people with without college degrees are represented in the sample. And we also have caps in place on the urban and suburban vote, so the rural vote is not underrepresented in our polls. So everything that I'm saying is based strictly on the numbers and not based on what I'd like to see or what my political predispositions might be. Of course, you're free to disagree with me, but all I'm doing is reporting what the data say.
Well, explain this weighting by college. I mean, I don't have a college degree. You do. Explain how, and would I get put in a different bucket if I'm polled because I'm dumb?
You get put in a dumb bucket.
A ducket.
That's their implication bucket. Is that you don't have a college degree, you're dumb shit.
Dumb shit. That's
so
me.
We'll make sure to put you in. You're obviously a dumb shit to be supporting Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, all these things are predispositions that she's saying don't exist. Let's listen to Chuck Todd discussing the NBC polling on a sports talk show, which is a clip I saved from the last show. You've heard this clip.
It's pretty good. Look, I would say this. I'd rather be betting the money line. I know Biden's the point spread favorite. I'd rather bet the money line than see if he would cover a spread. Look, I do think I'm one of those that's going to say it this way. If you hold the election 10 times, I think there's only one, maybe two occasions that Trump wins. I think there's 4 occasions that Biden wins in a blowout, and I think there's 4 occasions where it's a nail biter, but he wins. I think that the most where we're really headed is I think it's possible that all of the battleground states, when you're watching us on Tuesday night, everything feels competitive and close. Whether it's Florida, whether it's Iowa, whether it's Wisconsin, and everything will feel within that 3 to 5 point range. And you're like, boy, I don't know, but it looks like it's, and then it all tips in one direction. And then Biden could get to that, 350 to 400 electoral vote mark. there is an outside chance he could touch 400, and that would mean carrying Texas. I still think there's a lid on Texas of about, a 47 or 48 for Democrats, that at the end of the day he's just going to come up a point or two short. But I'll say this: I think the adjustment that many pollsters have made. I know the adjustments we've made to make sure that we feel good about our numbers. But a lot of these other, I think if we're wrong this time, we might be wrong in the other direction. Meaning, we may be there is a chance we're underestimating Biden.
Yeah,
underestimating.
More of a chance we're underestimating Biden than what we did 4 years ago. But the biggest difference is that he's an incumbent, and he's just not given the benefit of the doubt the way he was when he was a challenger. And that, how voters think. Be simplistic about this. Incumbent in a year where things aren't going well, incumbent loses 9 times out of 10.
That's what I would have thought. Anyway. All right, we'll see. All right, I'll talk to you next week. Thank you, Chuck.
Sometimes the fundamentals matter.
Yeah. Thanks, Chuck.
I love the adjustments we made. Is that another? Oh, these are dumb people in Texas. They must be dumb. We'll adjust that number.
Yeah.
Did you see what happened in Texas when the Biden-Harris bus was in Houston, and then they were going to drive to Austin, and there was a Trump train convoy of trucks and cars with Trump flags, and I'm talking at least a mile behind and in front of and next to. And so they decided not even to go to Austin. And this is no good. There was a convoy surrounding the Biden-Harris bus. It was fantastic.
I never heard this was not reported.
It's everywhere on the YouTubes. You can find video of it. The minute they left Houston, it was boom. Truck and the pickup trucks with the flags and a million flags.
No, they use them around here sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On the freeway, going as fast as they can.
And so they were just surrounding the bus, and then they got to Austin. Oh no, we don't even want to go into Austin. So they gave up. They gave up. That's hilarious.
Funny. Well, since you brought it up, here's ABC who's reporting on Texas, and this, of course, NBC would agree with this. Texas flipping red.
Ooh, sorry, got the wrong. Where is it here? Is it ABC Texas flipping red?
No, it's Texas flipping red. ABC's at the end.
I don't have a Texas flipping red.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah, I do. I'm sorry.
Biden's team thinks voters are fired up, and they see new opportunity in those long lines to vote across the country. In Texas, more than 9 million people have already voted. That's more than all of the votes cast there in 2016. But today, Biden's running mate Kamala Harris was there trying to get out the vote and flip the red state blue.
Today is the last day of early voting in Texas, and you all have been doing your thing. Now, we know this is no time to let up on the pedal, though, right?
Yeah, well, you sure did. You didn't let up on the pedal. You scooted right by Austin, scaredy cat.
The most Democrat of all the cities.
Well, I'm going to say that I think things have changed dramatically in Austin. There's been rumors that Austin could go red, although the mayor's not up for re-election. He is up for recall. Only 3 of the city council are up for re-election. But this is the nut jobs here. Defunded the police, $100 million. They say they didn't do it, but they did. The city council did. They're moving that money over to the social workers and the community code officers. Who normally check to see if you have your
make a bunch of code violators.
Yeah.
The community code guys are like little police.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But they have historically have no power. They can write you a ticket or a summons if you put your sprinklers on the wrong day or too early, which I've actually had happen. They give you a ticket for summons for that.
What?
Yeah. But the issue here is the homelessness in the tents, and the actual nonprofits who are given grant money for the people camping is has been handing out more tents. That's what they've done with the money. And then the keeper and I, we went to vote yesterday or Friday, and that we have 2 propositions. And one of them, well, one is to raise property taxes to pay for the second one, which is something that's come up every election cycle I've been in Austin so far, is the Austin Connect, where they want to have light rail, and we definitely have transportation issues, but it's a $7 billion package, and it's just to get started. So I believe there's such low trust in these douchebags, and we during the lockdown, every Austinite has at one point watched one of these city council meetings on Zoom, and well, now I think people are done. And here is Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick talking about Austin.
The city of Austin is a disaster if you haven't been there. A great city. Now one of the most dangerous cities in America.
Woo, baby!
And definitely in Texas. We've already been talking with the governor, and I've talked with others about taking over Austin, the state taking over policing that city. And if that is the plan, that will be a high priority bill for the Senate to pass. The budget's usually number one, but that'll be in the top 5. And we will pass that bill. And if we have to protect the citizens of Austin from the bridge to beyond UT campus.
When he says the bridge to beyond the UT campus, he's talking specifically about the tents everywhere.
Where parents now are afraid to send their students because Mayor Adler has defunded the police, and the city council has defunded the police, endangering the police and all the citizens, then that's what we're going to do. And the next session, we know the budget will be tight, but there are always dollars to defend the police and protect our citizens' lives. That's our number one job. We are not going to tolerate people's lives being at risk in our state. We're not going to tolerate judges who are letting criminals walk the street.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. We'll see how blue Texas is. We'll see how blue Austin is. I'm not so sure. And remember, America, I pick the hits.
Well, there is, here's a report from John Carl, the head of the correspondence group that does the White House.
The White House correspondence pool.
Yeah, he's the head of that. He's the one who picks the guys who get to go there.
Yeah.
And here's the story about the mail-in ballots and what's going on. And this is an ABC report. It's a little long, but it kind of summarizes things, at least from the perspective of these guys. And I want to play a couple of clips a little later. I would say that right now, the media in particular and a lot of and the Democrats are spiking the ball.
And too early.
Way too early.
Yeah.
And they're spiking the ball, and they're just, I mean, you could hear it in the voice of Chuck Todd when he was on that podcast. I'm going to play a straight line. I'm not going to take the spread. You know, what is he talking about? What is he saying to a professional sports bettor? And it's got to do with the presidential election. Well, we've been probably estimated really low, you know. It's that kind of thing. But there's other examples which I have here. But let's play this clip with it's called Mail-In Story.
I just stopped tape for 1 second. I'm sorry. I just have to go downstairs and get one thing. Something was delivered that I don't want sitting out there the whole time. 2 minutes.
Okay. You guys still listening out there? I wonder if the stream's still going. If it is, find something here. No. There we go.
Well, I told you it was just 2 minutes. Oh, man, I'm jacked.
What'd you get?
Oh, I got it's the phone.
What phone?
The Pine phone.
The Pine phone? Is it made out of wood?
Yeah, it's a Linux phone.
Oh, really? A Linux phone?
We'll talk about it
Not a boot it.
I'm going to play the clip. Be quiet.
The key factor here is the massive increase in mail-in and absentee voting due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Those mailed ballots take time to process. Local officials must compare names to voter rolls and make sure everyone is eligible to vote and not voting twice. And in some states, votes are counted even if they come in days after the election, as long as they are postmarked by Election Day. And 8 states don't even start looking at the mail-in ballots until Election Day. Pennsylvania, for one, is going to take a long time. More than 2 million ballots in the state have been returned, and they won't even start processing them until Election Day.
I feel confident that the overwhelming majority will be counted by Friday, if not before.
But that doesn't mean we won't know who won the presidency earlier than that. It depends on how close the race is. In several key states Donald Trump must win, the counting is expected to happen quickly. Florida, Georgia, and Arizona, for example, are among the states where most or nearly all of the votes are expected to be in by election night. In Florida, they have been processing ballots for over a month, and with more than half of registered Floridians voting early, we could have a very good idea of who won the state shortly after the polls close.
All right, so let's get right to Jonathan Carl with us live tonight. John, I want to go back to that map of states that don't even open those mail-in ballots until Election Day. And the counting process, of course, state officials say will take time, even days. Here's the map tonight. You can see some of those key battlegrounds, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, right there on the map. And John, as you said, we could know some other key states, though, including Florida, where they have begun processing. They'll start earlier. The results in those states could really tell us a lot about where the presidential election is going and how long it could actually take to know who wins.
So, David, on election night, I would watch 4 states early: Florida, Georgia, Texas, and North Carolina. If Donald Trump wins all 4 of those, and those are all states that he won 4 years ago, and states where we should know the results pretty early, we are in for a very long process waiting for states like Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin. But if Donald Trump loses any of them, it will be very difficult, if not impossible, for him to win the presidency again.
You know, either way it goes, it's going to be interesting if, now, as I've said, if Biden-Harris, if they win, then it's Build Back Better, lockdown, and we'll go into some very dark winter. On the other hand,
down better.
Yes. On the other hand, if Biden-Harris lose, I would presume political polling is going to be done with forever. It'll never be believed again. Two in a row. Well, no, you're right. Yeah, people will still believe it. Yeah, what am I thinking? Shoot, there was another point I was going to make about that.
Well, you were talking about the things that are going to change if Trump wins again. There's also going to be some people screaming at the wind.
Oh, man.
And there's going to be accusations of crookedness. And, they stole the election again.
Well, I get the feeling that the media in general has done, they've done their job. They've done all the reporting on the polling. I mean, CNN, they're almost like Bloomberg now. They don't have any more space for numbers on the screen. So we have COVID deaths, number of cases. Then we have number of people who have voted, the polling data. It's like a number percentage soup everywhere. And
like a Korean website.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Like a Korean website. And I think that in this next day or two, they're all going to throw their hedges out there. Like, well, stuff could be wrong, burp, burp. So they've done all this propaganda. And then stuff like this starts to appear on CNN.
One place that may defy your math and logic, David, is Miami-Dade County in Florida. So what I think the numbers are showing is that many more Republicans have already gone in person to vote in early voting than Democrats. And Congresswoman Frederica Wilson of that district is trying to sound the alarm. She talked to Politico and said that what she's seeing is very concerning for her. She has said, let me quote it to you, I screamed, hollered, I called, I lobbied from the top to the bottom. Wilson said of her efforts to get to the turnout operation started in the community, including sending written proposals to the Biden campaign and having virtual Zoom meetings with his advisors. She is worried because what she's seeing, she says, in terms of the black community and Hispanic, it's not going Biden's way.
Oh, Oh, there it is. We guess we didn't count on the black and Hispanic communities, which is the same zip code, apparently. So the black and Hispanic.
Right.
So,
they live next to each other. They love each other so much.
It's so integrated, and they have figured it out. They know how to live in harmony as a community.
Now, the way I see it, I am in total agreement that they're going to do a little hedging, but I still think they're so overconfident. You're not going to see as much as you could see, despite what happened last time. So I think there's going to be a lot of spiking the ball. I think there's going to be, and let's say Trump wins, it's going to be the what we got wrong week. They'll leverage it.
Yeah, they will. No, not what we got wrong. What the pollsters got wrong. They'll never take responsibility for being wrong.
Even though they all own a pollster.
Yes.
ABC's got, I think they work with the Washington Post with some phony baloney poll. They've all ABC something poll, but that's okay. Yeah, they can kind of gloss that over. But it's what we got wrong or what they got wrong and what. And it's just going to be a lot of nasal gazing. A lot of nasal gazing.
I am writing that down.
So nasal gazing is a good show title.
Yeah.
But a lot of navel gazing where there's just, this is the reason. Wow, if we'd seen this coming. Well, we underestimated this, we underestimated that. We could have done a better job of this and that. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, they're promoting the whole time. This is going to be pathetic. I would prefer Trump to win because it'll be pathetic to watch the media grovel.
And on election night, we have all kinds of people on standby to make sure no one calls anything wrong or Russians somehow screw us up.
There'll be some Russian accusations.
Listen to this.
They won't do that immediately because that'll be too obvious. That'll come later.
No, but this is the plan. Listen to this. This is the plan they have.
Department of Homeland Security will have a rapid response cyber war room set up on election night to tamp down disinformation, and so local election officers can call in if they see anything unusual. Also, the National Guard is putting forth cyber experts and cyber units, especially in places like Washington State, where they have National Guardsmen who are experts in cyber security. Back to you, Phil.
Hopefully we will not be there either. Warning went out in New York City, and let's keep it all calm. Thank you, Jennifer Griff from the Pentagon. Nice to see you.
Oh, yes, from the Pentagon. We got cyber experts making sure nothing happens. It's all going to be safe. It's all going to be great.
Let's listen to this clip, which is Mindy Robinson, a little blonde bombshell Republican Trump supporter in Nevada who keeps running for Congress. Bitching about the mail-in ballots there. She got kicked off of Twitter for this.
That was an incredible story. Can you tell us about what happened in Nevada when you ran for Congress and all the voting shenanigans?
Okay, a little more to repeat the scene. So basically, I was running for Congress and we got stuck. Everyone was getting a mail-in ballot. So normally I would have to appeal to the 36,000 or so Republicans that vote in every primary. No. Everyone was getting a ballot, dead or alive. The Democrats fought for that, dead or alive. And we had loose ballots showing up. I actually think the picture I tweeted is what James Wood and Trump ended up picking up. I actually sent the address out. That was me. And I'm like, we have a problem. We got ballots anyone can pick up and drop in a mailbox. Why would you even want dead people voting or anything like that? That was a problem. So I did, because I was running, I'm like, look, guys, we're stuck with these. There's a website. You can check where your ballot is going. Do it. So mail it out, because we're stuck with them. Go to the website, after a week or so, and make sure that they got it. Make sure it's counted. So naturally, people went to do that, and people started messaging me like, Mindy, it says I'm ineligible to vote. I'm like, what? Send me the screenshot. They send me the screenshot. Says I'm ineligible to vote. I've been voting. I've been living here for 10 years. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, okay, fuck. I checked mine. This is ineligible to vote. And I'm like, I had Randy check it. He's ineligible to vote. Now we're like, what's going on? Where is our vote? I do a tweet, blah, blah, blah. Suddenly my voting history reappears wrong. My midterm election was just not there. So something's definitely going on. And I had people that were Republicans that were suddenly Democrats. We had every kind of mismanagement thing you could possibly imagine. So I do a tweet to the Secretary of State, who's a rhino. She's awful. And she let all this stuff happen. She let the mail-in ballot. She let the ballot harvesting happen. She let no voter ID happen, all this stuff. And I'm like, you got a problem. You got people whose voting history is gone, changed, ineligible to vote. What's going on? She goes, it's a glitch.
much, everybody. Hey, keep her in Florida. What an idiot. I don't want this woman anywhere near me. Oh, is she part of the Laura Loomer gang? Because she sounds like she should be.
She's a fast talker.
Oh,
fast talking.
Nah, this is not my kind of person.
No.
At all. Ugh. And I think when it comes to mail-in voting, may I just assert, I'm pretty sure Republicans are better at cheating with that. They've had more experience with it, certainly in Florida. Or 2000, that was mail-in voting. That was hanging Chad time.
No, well, hanging Chads was from the punch-style voting machine.
Right, but there, we even have Debbie Wasserman.
Well, there's some evidence. We brought this up on the show.
Well, hold on.
That the Republicans may be better and maybe crying wolf about the mail-in.
30 seconds of Debbie Wasserman Schultz before the 2000 election.
Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz argues a mail-in ballot has wrong written all over it.
It'd be a risky experiment for us with an election that has stakes as high as a presidential election does. We've never done a mail-in ballot statewide.
Wasserman Schultz is worried about signature fraud, disenfranchising college students, getting addresses wrong, and having private donors instead of states footing the bill. She favors seating the delegates already chosen.
But there's a way to solve this without totally redoing this and causing more chaos.
Yeah, well, that's because the Republicans have had a lot of experience at cheating. So I'm not so sure that it's going to be such a huge problem.
I think a balance. I think the cheating on both sides will balance. That's what I'm hoping for. And by the way, Mindy's from Nevada now, since she's not from Florida.
Okay.
And I like her. So
that's fine.
Just to make that clear.
That's good.
So
that's good. I'm happy.
So I don't get jammed on Twitter.
I'm happy you like her.
A great clip from one of the Kamala events. This is the intro somebody gives her.
Oh, yes. I heard this one.
I was there. I stood up and I was counted. Without further delay, I am so honored to introduce the next president of the United States, Senator Kamala Harris.
I have another one of those, and this is her husband. What's her husband's name? Doug or something? He looks like a Doug.
Doug. That's the same guy that used to read the news on the old No Agenda stream.
It is that guy indeed. Doug is still in the troll room. Yeah. So Doug came out to talk to, I guess, a little group of people who were all excited, and this is what he did.
I'm married to the next president of the United States.
Woo! He's married to the next.
Can't get this out of their brain.
No, but it's so obvious that's what's going to happen. I think we all know.
I know. This is exactly.
I mean, there's nothing. They have nothing to lose.
Boom.
And it doesn't matter. Joe Biden is the whole Biden crime family, the laptop. Well, after our first break, well, I have a couple things to share about that. But Joe is toast no matter what. If he loses, he loses, and if he wins, he'll be. In fact, I even thought that President Trump, he did, I think, 4 different appearances yesterday, and clearly the Biden camp is trying to keep up. They're even doing hangars now with the airplane behind it. I think Trump is just trying to make Joe kill himself. Just to see if he would keel over.
I want to play a couple of these laughable Biden clips.
Well, of course.
You have the 2 bonus clips?
Yes, I've had bonus clips.
Okay, just play either one of them and then play the next one.
Folks, I'll do what he's unable to do. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure, isolate, and punish China.
This has got to be my favorite one, the memes of the shooter heritage versus suppression.
What did he say?
I think he's saying...
you think he's trying to say something, but what did he actually say?
It's something about depression.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
True international pressure, maybe? True international effort to pressure. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It should be on T-shirts. It should be bumper stickers. It's beautiful.
Folks, we got a lot of work to do. I don't only need you to get me elected, I need you once I'm elected.
I really want him to be our president now. I mean, can you imagine the fun we're going to have on the show? I mean, this is not...
Yeah, there goes the money, but wow.
Well, everyone will be broke, but we'll have a good-ass time. That's for sure. Oh, man.
What did he say there?
I
don't want you to help me get elected, but I want you to help me after I'm elected?
Well, let's just...
What's he saying? It's all corrupt and he doesn't need votes?
Well,
what does he say? What is he actually trying to say?
Let's check it again.
Folks, we got a lot of work to do. I don't only need you to get me elected, I need you once I'm elected.
Okay, he says, I don't need you just to get me elected, I also need you after I'm elected. I think that's what he's saying.
Oh, very good. You should be working for the Biden campaign as his translator. You know, he says something and then you say something in the other mic explaining what he said. That would be a great bit. It's like from a Woody Allen
I'm going to try this one again, then.
Folks, I'll do what he's unable to do.
I'll do what he's unable to do.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize.
True international effort to pressure. Isolate and punish China.
Yeah, very good. Straight up.
Woo!
Okay, we got this one. This is Biden on the stump. This comes from Democracy Now!
President Trump and Joe Biden held competing campaign rallies just miles apart Thursday in the battleground state of Florida, which is also a red zone hotspot for the coronavirus. Biden held a drive-in rally in Tampa where supporters were required to wear masks and to practice social distancing.
Donald Trump
Stop. She showed video, the best video they had. There was no social distancing. People were snuggling with each other's bull crap.
Oh, really?
Go on.
The science, and we shouldn't be politicizing the race for a vaccine. We should be planning for its safe use and free and equitable distribution, providing PPE for national standards for schools, businesses to open safely. I laid out a plan back in May how to do that.
What?
I'm going to ask you. She runs this clip. I don't know why. What the hell is a skull?
A skull? It's where you drink. I think
skull.
A skull. It's a place where you drink. I think
I have this as an
ISO.
ISO. Biden sentence ISO.
Okay.
Standards for schools, businesses to open safely. Standards for schools.
Yeah, I mean it's almost not funny anymore because I already went through my feeling sad for elderly abuse, and now it's just pathetic. It's truly pathetic. Did you see Obama? Did you see Obama trying to shill for the whole thing? I mean, so Obama goes up after Joe. Obama is yelling himself hoarse. Of course, there's no crowd feedback because there is no crowd. They're all standing in little circles.
Yes, and then, Obama needs an audience just like Trump does.
Of course he does. Of course. And then Joe comes back up, and he's hanging with Dvorak, and then they're walking off stage, and Barry puts on his mask, and then he motions to Joe, "Hey man, where's your mask?" And Joe goes back to the podium, and for at least 2 minutes. He's looking underneath. He's looking on the top. He's feeling his pockets, his inside. He can't find his mask. There's no one there to help him. There's no one who says, "Mr. Vice President, here's a mask. Let's go." He's standing there on this. It's like there was the headline act. Jay, we all go off stage, and he comes back looking for his mask for 2 minutes. The optics are so messed up.
Well, I didn't see that. They don't show this stuff.
Yeah. Well, it was on, I think I was watching MSNBC. So, yeah, they just kept it on there.
Well, they screwed the pooch with that clip.
They just kept it right on there. Truly bizarre. Truly bizarre.
Well, even though you say it's not funny anymore, I think it's hilarious.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C and stands for the C in C-SPAN, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning, all ships to sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water. And dames and nights out there.
In the morning to the trolls in the troll room. Hands up, trolls. Let's see what we got going on today. We have, there we go, 2117. That's what you get on a pre-election show, which means, yes, 2,117. It may be a record. Yeah, it's pretty big.
Sunday pre-show, pre-election. This is interesting.
Write that down.
Show.
I should write that down. That's a good number.
Yeah, put it down. 2117.
It's a good number we got.
Our show really seems to draw, and that's only a reflection of the total listenership of this show.
Of course, we have at least 2,300.
I mean, you have to be dedicated, as far as I'm concerned, to be in that room.
No, but these people are cool. They're on the stream.
But it shows that people actually do gravitate toward this show when they're looking for some answers.
And we hope
all we do is provide ridicule. I don't know what they're looking at.
Maybe they're coming for the ridicule, and it's handy to get some answers. It could be that way as well.
There's answers in and around.
Thank you for showing up, trolls. We do appreciate you. The troll room is at noagendastream.com, so you can listen to the show live. Of course, Darren O'Neill does the rock and roll pre-show, but we have Nick the Rat the night before on Wednesday nights. We have the Grumpy Old Bens. We got Hog Story. A whole bunch of people doing live podcasts. They release this podcast, but they record them live. And then we have just 24 hours, 7 days a week of cool podcasts that have been carefully selected by the community. And that community is trolls, and they all live in the same community, and that is noagendastream.com. You heard us talking about Doug earlier. Doug does still exist in the troll room. He's at Doug. If you ask him, he'll give you an invite to No Agenda Social, which is our federated social network, which is completely open source. It has no algorithms that will mess you up with your timeline. You kind of go in, you look down, and when you hit something that you've seen before, that's it. You can only go back up to the top. There's not going to be something just floating down, or all of a sudden a spew of likes or boosts that you hadn't seen before. And we have about 6,500 people there, and more joining every single day. It is federated, so you can tune in, you can subscribe, or you can follow anybody who's on noagendasocial.com from your own Mastodon account or your own Mastodon server, or wherever you may pick up the federated social network. And that leads us to thank our artist for episode 1290. This was interesting. First of all, it was done by Tontanale, which is...
So now we have 3 women in a row.
3 in a row. Don't call us misogynists. This was interesting.
Well, it was Darren O'Neill. He's the misogynist. He's the official designated misogynist. He pointed out the 2 in a row, and I picked up on the 3.
He was pointing it out on No Agenda Social. But what was interesting, even... someone sent me a note and says, I hit a friend of mine in the mouth, but she didn't want to listen because she saw the Biden-Harris logo on your artwork, which is interesting. If she had looked very closely, she would have seen there were 3 red flags with Fs on it, which we found to be very entertaining. This is the 3F strategy from China, which is meant to bring the United States down to its knees. And Tontanale, we thank you very much. Now, was this 2 in a row for Tontanale, or no? She was 1.
I think it was Tontanale. Then it's been a back and forth with the women.
Then it was Jay Bird,
Mountain Jay,
and then Tontanale again. I guess.
I think that was it. Yeah. Or it was Mountain Jay and 2 Tontanales. I don't know. Yeah. We don't. It's not that granular. And it was a great piece. I also want to point out that I used a piece in which I think would have been qualified for today's show, which was Arrow Shamrock did a Trojan horse piece that I used in the newsletter that I just thought was a stunner. Came in afterwards. But yeah, I can see what I had a little cringe when I saw the Tontanale piece as the show, because it did look like a promotion for Biden-Harris.
It did. And what else was there that we liked in this? There must be something else that we've been
getting a lot of pieces. People trying to do cheesecake, the hairy legs, bunch of hairy legs.
Yeah, the hairy legs. It's.
I'll mention this little thing again. One of my pet peeves, the thing that always gets me to veto art. If something is disgusting, in terms of it's like an open sore or worms or even the coronavirus itself, I would just veto it. I will not allow that to be. And Adam can do the same thing. But that's one of my pet peeves is something that's kind of gross or makes you itch or makes you go, ooh. Because that's not attracting anyone to the show. No. And that's my rationale. And so the hairy legs was not going to cut it.
Well, clearly the Biden-Harris logo wasn't attracting certain people to the show either, but that's neither here nor there.
Right. It was just the best piece.
And maybe we have new listeners who came in thinking, oh, this will be great. And they've been delightfully surprised. So there was no other art that we need to discuss. I think that was it, right?
I'm looking. I don't see anything.
I mean, there is so much. It's really appreciated how much fantastic art comes in. And I want to say, because that's part of our value for value model, is where people can contribute their time, their talent, or their treasure. Thank you to the multiplex and multitude of producers who have learned how to do clips. And while not all clips are used and some are way too long, people are exercising their they're getting used to it. And I always provide feedback. Hey, this is too long. Cut out this. Cut out that. Because this is what makes our show so great. Is that type of producership that people just take upon themselves because there's no
engagement.
It's called engagement. Because, instead you can send me a 35-minute video and say, this is great. I'm sure you can get some clips from it. So
wait a minute. What about the 2.5-hour videos that people send you?
We got those too. So people often send time code, which is fantastic. And some take it upon themselves to do the actual clips. I just want to say that's just as important as the artwork. And of course the people who came in today to not only support the show, support the work, but receive a special executive producer or associate executive producer credit. John C. Dvorak is here with more information.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I have more information, which is the list of executive and associate executive producers, beginning with Sir Onimus of Dogpatch and Laura Slobovia.
It's the first of the month. There he is once again.
Here he comes. 1661.00, $1,661.
Wow.
So he's a palindrome, if you eliminate the zeros, and his code number for this show. He writes. And he also has a scolding. He's going to scold me in this letter.
But I wish I understood how his code works.
No, you never will. That's how code works.
Okay.
You're not a code breaker.
No.
Thank you for you two and all the producers that make this the best podcast in the universe. It seems to me that the U.S. presidential race is between a candidate that needs the economy open for his personal fortune versus the other who needs it closed for his political fortune.
Well,
pick your scenario, folks, although I'm hearing more anti-Trumpers not wanting to vote at all.
Oh, really?
From his perspective. As your take on the early voting suggests, get them to vote before the truth is revealed. Since many producers are in healthcare, are they observing an increase in violence at the hospital ERs from the lockdown? Mental health, drug, and alcohol issues are boiling over from my contacts, and I know of 2 ER nurses that have resigned after attacks, while some hospitals have or are discussing increased security staff.
Wow.
This is not in the news.
No.
Mental health, retirement, and Alzheimer's facilities are suffering serious issues as the lockdown continues without end. The lockdown is cleansing advanced society's populations of the weak and unfit. So will the next target be the Jews and the gypsies?
Woo! Yellow stars for everybody.
As your show has observed, the M5M is suffering financially during the lockdown, even as they feed the beast of fear. Industry analysts note that riding with Biden will slow or stop consolidation and bonuses in the industry, and more polarized viewership will further reduce advertiser interest in their smaller audience. Ad dollars flow into digital advertising. It will accelerate, which is the hope of the podcast network investors. This is true.
Yes.
It's the hope. This should be all caps for hope. A Biden administration will restart net neutrality, hurting profit margins at a time where more capital is required for 5G, as well as to fund the infrastructure build from the legislation demanding universal broadband access for remote learning in lower income or remote regions. Media industry, the night of the long knives is coming from your political leadership.
That's right.
You've got to love people that reuse history's playbook. Referring to himself, of course. In this case, John, periodically, particularly with anyone associated with the CIA, you make an aside, quote, and probably a Muslim. I understand the implications of Brennan not revealing a conversion to Islam when he became head of the CIA. But how can I hit friends and relatives in the mouth with a rifle butt if periodic aside suggests something is wrong with our faith? Come on, man. We all have family that died fighting these so-called Muslim zealots, which is true. Mm-hmm. And I've discussed this. I've said if you look at Muslim websites, you'll find a lot of them bitching and moaning, and people say, "Oh, the Muslims never speak up." They speak up constantly. Now, my aside regarding Brennan and the CIA, besides the fact that he never mentions it, is a couple of things. I'll try to clear my name. First of all, he joins the CIA. He joins the faith in Saudi Arabia, which indicates to me he's a Salafist, which means he's a borderline radical.
Right.
This is never discussed. He's never asked about it, and he never says anything about it, and he's a creep. So I'll bring it into the picture every once in a while, and I will say this. Let's say I don't think the head of the Saudi Arabia intelligence agency, and there is one, would necessarily benefit from being Jewish or Christian fundamentalists, and I don't think that they would like to have that in that position. It's just a matter of taste in the various areas. I would say the same thing probably in Kuwait, in Qatar, Oman, all those places. If they have intelligence services, I'm sure Qatar does, they would expect them to be Muslim at the head, not Christian fundamentalists. So that does bother me. And I do not like the idea of a Muslim, radical Muslim in particular, being the head of the CIA. I think that just like any other culture, the main focus of the head of something like the CIA should be pretty much reflective of the population at large. In other words, in our case, should be an atheist. Mm-hmm. But it technically should be a Christian, but everyone seems to be an atheist in this country, even when they say they're Christians. The point is, I wouldn't want anybody from some radical faith or a Buddhist. I wouldn't want a Buddhist. I wouldn't want anything that's a little offbeat at the head of the CIA. I just feel that way, and I think the Saudis would feel the same way about their head of their CIA. So that's all it is, and it annoys me that no one ever talks about Brennan. So I'm done. I will try to minimize this to an extreme.
I got some good stuff for Brennan later on. Believe it or not.
Anyway, I hope that helps, but maybe I
think we need to work on decoding his code, and he's probably sitting there laughing that we can't figure it out.
Oh, he may be just randomizing us
just to mess with us. That's a good one. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
Sir Anonymous of Dogpatch and Lower Slobovia, it is always wonderful to have you come into our executive producer segment. He refuses to have any further titles. He's never asked us to do that. We'd be happy to, but just knowing that he's out there is it's like a warm blanket, a monthly warm blanket, and we really, really appreciate your courage.
A true patron. Victoria Saucier is next on the list from Warren, New Hampshire. $1,000.01.
Wow.
Another palindrome.
Hold on,
ITM,
let me take that penny and put it into the pot for the next person that comes along.
For the next guy. Mm-hmm. I think somebody does need it.
Okay.
I've been listening since July when I heard Adam on Tom Woods.
There you go. Tom Woods.
Adam's role in podcasting history. I was shocked to hear that Adam has been doing a podcast with JCD, a guy whose columns I And he says, if that works, just keep doing that. He's like a practical guy. He says, you're just wasting your money if you're going to get some, some special glasses. He says, you got 20/20 vision in the one good eye.
Now, is this so you're going to, it's the same eye that you have to have the thing done?
No,
it's the
that
other
guy's
eye.
good to go.
Oh, it's the other eye.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And you have to this is another thing, you got to figure out what kind of lens. So I'm going to do a little book on how for people to assuage their fear.
But are you happy with the previous lens? Because I didn't think you were that happy.
It's fine. It's fine, except I think I made a wrong choice.
Okay. What this is important. Hey, I talk about hearing aids. You've got the vision covered, so give it up, big boy. Let's hear what's going on. This is interesting.
Well, I've been nearsighted all my life and wore glasses to see, but as your vision, as you get older, your eyeball changes a bit and you start to turn farsighted naturally. And then now you can pass the driver's license test. You don't need to wear glasses when you drive. And I find that to be cool. And it's also kind of, all the jocks are always farsighted. So I said, and I started liking it being farsighted. And so you have a choice with the crystal lens, which is the special, there's a bunch of choices you'll make. It'll be in the book. But I picked a lens that flips and flops inside the eyeball, but it gives me medium vision and far vision very accurately, so I can see a mile away.
Okay.
But I stumble around and if I'm in close quarters, and so I have to wear either reading glasses or something to see anything or read. And after a while, it gets on your nerves. I'm thinking, maybe I should have gone back to being nearsighted. And I think about it every so often. It's too late now.
So I'm nearsighted. So I'm interested in this because first of all, I've never had any operation in my life of any kind. I can't imagine this happening to my eyeballs. I think I'd probably rather stick it out for as long as I can.
Just imagine, there's nothing to it. You're there and they backed up and a bunch of people looking around and then a big knife comes right through your eyeball and then they gouge it into your eye.
I'm so looking forward to this. Lovely. Okay.
Anyway, that's really anything but the way it actually works is pretty amazing. It's simple. It's painless, and it doesn't even. You don't. It's not like you'd think. But you don't know that unless you go through it.
Right.
I'll go back to the note. Reading with the pair of reading glasses. Thank you for your great work. Yeah. I'd like to thank you, artists, musicians, and dudes named Ben and Bernadette, and producers that make the show possible. I've been trying to figure out, it's kind of interesting, it printed on both sides of this sheet. I've been trying to figure out how the show has been how it's been outshining the one before it for all of 2020. So he's claiming, even though we're spending hours on this segment, because of my anecdote, that the show keeps improving each and every show one to the other.
Aww.
It's a trick. It dawned on me that there's a direct relationship between how much nonsense the M5M is pumping out
and how good our show is.
And how important the deconstruction is for our continued sanity. And they have had the propaganda pump on full blast all year.
For sure.
I think I can agree with that. I'm bringing my treasure in the amount of $333 to do my part and claim Election Day special executive producership. I've been qualified to be a knight for a while, but note, the anxiety is real. I am requesting to be knighted Sir Robert Knight of the Naughty Bits for the round table, and he's got his Jameson and Verner's, and we got that. I would like to wish our daughter, here we go again. She may not be on the list.
Okay.
Now this makes 102nd person. I would like to wish our daughter Brielle, Brieelle, a happy 11th birthday for her Election Day celebration.
Yes, she's on the list.
Oh, she is? Okay,
good.
If you would please play Fluoride in My Cup, WTC 7, I think we got these listed. Best wishes to you and your families during the upcoming holidays. Yeah. Thank you for the best wishes for the upcoming holiday season.
The best part of waking up is fluoride in my cup. WTC 7 won't go away.
My God, for 25 years, they've been growing babies in cows.
I want to mention something since I'm already chewing up time. So yesterday, and Jay, my daughter, is a big Halloween nut. She's
really? What did she go? What did she dress up as? What was her costume?
She didn't get to dress up as anything because they canceled Halloween in the whole area.
What?
Yeah, she's going to go to something tonight. There's a party, but there used to be parties and all kinds. And she used to get dolled up when she was young and really fancy stuff. And there's some great pictures of her. And she's very bummed. And then the joke of it is here in California and every place else, actually. It was Halloween. This is a great setup. Halloween basically canceled in the Bay Area. But look at the things that came together. Halloween on a Saturday with a full moon.
A blue moon,
and Mars in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see Mars. I showed her. Look at this, Mars. And it was perfect. And it was nice. In some places it's raining, but here it was nice. It was, to me, a unbelievable disaster because of just all these elements that came together and then were just rejected.
Well,
thank you, Democrats.
Kids were definitely out in Austin. I know there were lots of Halloween parties for the older kids. I spoke to Mo. He's in Northern Virginia. He was going trick-or-treating. So I think it's just a California thing.
Yeah.
Jeez. David Nelson, 333.33.
Well, you're skipping Drebs Scott.
Oh, I thought we just. I'm sorry. Drebs Scott, Earl at Large, 333.33. He is at large and has no jingles, no karma, but he does receive that coveted special producership for today, as does David Nelson, who comes in with the same 333.33 from Bel Air, Texas. Couldn't resist the offer, just had to chip in on the election special. You two have kept me calm with your infotainment over these many troublesome months, and the value has just been immense. Hoping that whatever outcome of the election will get back to being able to bring a tiny bit more rationality to general disclosure. Unlikely. But I'm not betting on it. There you go. So I'll keep listening to prevent amygdala enlargement. By the way, Adam, you're spot on about the excess number of cycles in PCR assay. I've been doing PCR since the 1980s when Kerry Mullis, the inventor, gave a talk about the method at my school before publishing his first paper. I do have a small gripe about your description, and this is good. There's no spinning involved. I talk about cycles. It is a thermal cycle, heating, cooling.
You used the term spin up.
I did. And that was completely incorrect, but there you go. Once again, we have the best producers in the universe. Please keep up the great work. No matter the outcome, your analysis will be vital. We all could use some goat karma for a mostly peaceful election week. And I'd like a dealer's choice, Reverend Al, in honor of everyone working the polls. And I, too, would say thank you all very much for working I always thank the people when I go vote. And, and I notice that they are often surprised when I say that. I say, hey, thank you so much for doing this. And they're like, oh. In fact, so I have not seen these voting machines that we had. They're touchscreen. They're different ones from previous times I voted in Texas. And now, of course, because of the COVID, they're handing out little finger protectors, which is literally it looks like a mini condom. And you just can't. Bankers use them sometimes. You just can't help but make jokes about it. Which I did, of course, and hilarity ensued, obviously.
There was a sign in front of all these polling places, no jokes.
No joking, douchebags. Yeah, we're going to give you, was there any karma associated with that? Yes, a goat karma, you got it.
There's no real conflict.
You've got karma.
Well, Robert Randall, I can't find a note from him under Randall or Robert or donation.
No.
So
what do you mean? Or donation?
The word donation in the subject line is one of my requirements to find these lost notes.
Yeah.
Robert Randall, Portland, Oregon, $333.33. And he's in Portland. He probably didn't have time dodging, Molotov cocktails. Probably didn't have time to write a note. But thanks for the donation.
Yeah.
Cheryl Cox in Austin, Texas.
Hello.
333. This is for Josh. Josh Cox, wishing him a happy birthday on November 3rd when he gets gets a present for his birthday.
That's nice.
This is Josh's mom.
Aww.
And he hit me in the mouth many, many years ago. I really appreciate the show and the work involved. Thank you. Thank you both.
And
you're welcome.
That is, we don't get that often, do we? I think maybe 2 or 3 times we have moms and sons who are...
No, rare.
Yeah, it's a very rare thing. It's nice. Thank you, Cheryl, and congratulations, Josh. You're on the list.
It's mostly, why are you listening to those guys?
Yeah, that's mostly what it is, yeah.
Sir Addison, CEO of Shitposts in Chesterfield, Missouri, 333. Sir Addison, here. Adam, your reporting on the PCR processes has been invaluable lately and really gets to the core of the scam.
Mm-hmm.
Your analysis is a perfect eye-opener without sounding like a crackpot. Keep up the great work, and please don't ever find that exit strategy. As usual, no agenda royalty and douchebags alike can save 33% on every order from Eables, E-A-B-L-E-S, CBD, with the code NOAGENDA at eables.com.
Yes.
Your audience is my favorite customers, and they keep me paid so I can keep you paid. If I could get a standard jobs karma to keep me focused and dialed in on my businesses, that would be great. You have a listener in life from myself and my friends, and I'm hitting people in the mouth left and right. Thank you for all you do, for truth and reason, and keeping and bringing the solid gold. Sir Addison, CEO of Shitpost. Adam, did your package make it to the P.O. box?
It did, Sir Addison. Thank you very much. And both myself and the keeper have enjoyed. And we didn't even have to use the checkout code NOAGENDA at eables.com. It just showed up in the P.O. box. Definitely outstanding product. And it's always nice to have multiple vendors for all of Gitmo Nation. So thank you very much. Yes, and you wanted
we have a lot of them.
We do. And you wanted a standard jobs karma? Here you go.
Jobs,
yes, standard.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
Jan Navis, $238, becomes the first associate executive producer for today's show, $12.91. In Dutch, they say, he writes, the real valuable things are intangible. Alles van waarde is weerloos.
Very good. Very close. And it's Jan, and he says, alles van waarde is weerloos.
Weerloos. Jan Navis. Okay. However, that won't pay for groceries. Not even here. So little added value, numerological taxonomy, Roman history from newborn producer Chronicle. Is there any make the old world sane again karma? We could use that.
Yes, there is. It's called goat karma. Here it comes.
You've got karma.
Next is Anonymous. And I think this is interesting that this was missed. 23456. But, smart money puts this right at the beginning of a note. I want to mention people want to be anonymous. Say that, put anonymous right at the beginning. I do not like reading an entire note at the very end. It says, please keep me anonymous.
Anonymous at the end. It's a real bummer.
For Jingle's going to get a John Brennan, innocent until you're accused.
Nice.
That's true. And Kamala's pretty good. That's not Kamala.
That's not Kamala. That's Amy.
That's Amy Klobuchar. Greetings, crackpot and buzzkill. Thank you for, as always, for the invaluable infotainment you provide. As my fellow Canadians are freaking out over the Rona.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure they are. It's not the ones that listen to this show. I've been able to maintain my small amygdala thanks to your incredible work. I donated last March and requested some law jobs karma. Now, I won't say this karma didn't work as kept my great job in my business skyrocketed over the summer. However, it didn't quite land the job in the legal field I was after. If you would please give me an extra strength Pelosi jobs karma for an interview I have this week, I would be incredibly thankful. Thanks again.
Well, I think that calls for a TPP then, if he wants some extra strength.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Okay, so just because there's so much confusion about it being Kamala instead of Amy, I'm going to do Brennan not guilty. That's true. Amy pretty good. I'll throw in an enslave me Kamala, and we'll wind it up with a TPP.
People are innocent until alleged to be involved in some type of criminal activity.
That's true.
I think that sounds pretty good.
Jobs.
Oh boy, the kid ruined it all.
Jobs. Jobs. And jobs.
You've got karma.
Love me some combies.
I'll take a look and see if I can find this email while you read the next note.
Okay. Christina Thomas, $200 from Drums, Pennsylvania. Drums. Apology in advance for War and Peace Below. It's not all that bad, actually. Thank you for all you do. Gitmo Nation, keeping Gitmo Nation sane, especially for helping me navigate the liberal paranoia that is the United States university system. Whoa, yes. When I started listening in 2018 while pursuing my undergraduate degree, I was grateful for your balanced view on the news and the state of the world after being bombarded with, we're all gonna die, scenarios in my classes. Now, as I pursue my graduate degree, hey, you don't make the dumb bucket like I do. I am still grateful for getting a dose of reality in between my classes where professors consistently clamor for a globalist agenda to combat the world's problems. Keep up the great work and please never find an exit strategy. Now on to the good stuff. 6 months ago, I told myself that I would be a Dane by my birthday on November 2nd, and this donation marks my $1,000 donation total, accounting attached. While I was hoping to join the round table before my stepdad, he managed to beat me to the mark during episode 1287 when he was knighted Sir Mount, Wandering Knight of the Two-Wheeled Steed, thus depriving me of any further opportunity to call him out as a douchebag. Nevertheless, I'm looking forward to joining him as well as the other illustrious knights and dames at the round table. In honor of my love of judo exploring Pennsylvania's forests, please dame me, Dame Christina, judoka of Penn Woods, and make sure there's plenty of coffee and ramen at the round table. I did not order that, but we always have a supply of coffee and ramen because it is something that's asked frequently. And let me put that on order here. I'm sorry. We have so much. This is whenever we do these special producerships, man, it goes off the charts. Dealer's choice of any Obama or Al Sharpton. I actually selected. I selected this one for you, and we'll throw in a karma too.
This is a rowdy crowd. Come on, guys. You're in my house. Hold on a second. No. Hey. Okay, you know what? Shame on you. You shouldn't be doing this.
RESPICT. You've got karma.
And I do have a note from Ryan Miller, who will be our last associate executive producer, $225. He's in Whittier, California.
Yes.
Whittier.
Whittier.
Again, get your pen out. We got 10 more birthdays and 6 knightings.
Okay. I don't think we've ever had this many people on the birthday list. It's great.
First, congratulations on 13 years of podcast excellence.
Thank you.
Our No Agenda listening family decided to rebel and go trick-or-treating in our local neighborhood. In honor of the Rona, we chose to act out a modified version of Monty Python's Bring Out Your Dead scene. Quite the classic.
Wait a minute, where's he from? Where did this take place? What state? Need to know.
Well, it'll come clear as the note continues. You'll get the clue.
Scandinavia.
He did send a video, which I'll forward to you, where they're actually showing how they did this.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be something we'll put in the show notes or something later. Our daughter was saddened to see a lack of kids trick-or-treating. The few families who were handing out candy were having small neighborhood parties. Seems we weren't the only rebels. Take that, Governor Newscum.
Ooh.
No jingles, no karma. So this is a Californian, and in Whittier, as a matter of fact, down with the Baron. And yeah, it's a problem. Poor kids. I feel bad. It says a perfect night. I'm sure it was in Southern California. It must have been dynamite. So that's our group of associate executive producers and executive producers for show 1291, the special Election Day special on the No Agenda show. Thank you.
Now, what is the exact title that people will be are warranted to use for this executive or associate executive producer?
No Agenda Election Day executive producer. Election Day special executive producer.
Perfect. And coming up, we do have 2 Black Knights. And I'll just say that right up front. We have, who will be the Black Knights here? Michael Goodell, and a black night is when you were recognized, everything is good, we mentioned you, and somehow I wound up not knighting you. That is how you achieve a black night.
Well, it could be a lot. Night. You could also fall into a vortex, which brings me to our last note for this segment.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up. Sir Crush-a-Lot, whose note appeared in, I think it was his sister's or one of his relatives' a card that came in with his sister.
Yeah.
And he's donated. His donation's already gone through at some point. But I'll reiterate, it was, I think, the donation was for, I'll give him the credit right now, which was for $352.95. And he wrote, and he's going to be knighted as a black knight, and his note kept getting lost. He was in the vortex. I've flown to California several times since the COVID pandemic set in. As cancer ran a race with dementia, my father's cancer came in at the end of August. It was a horrible thing to witness, so would I happily accept an F cancer? We can give you that in a second.
For sure.
Other than that, no jingles, no karma. During my latest visit last month, I was sitting outside Vino Volo in the disturbingly uncrowded San Francisco International Airport. It is creepy. Sharing a bottle of rosé with Dame Chardonnay, Dame Chardonnay, and she's the one I think who sent this note in, when she pointed out a bottle of monkey and goat Chardonnay. At the bottom of the label, it read BTL 00033 of 03300.
You're kidding me. Really? That's crazy. That's crazy.
It was a sign. With this donation, I sent a knighthood, accounting below you're on the list as a black knight. I would like to be known as Sir Crush-a-Lot, Knight of the Leelanau Grape Fields. I think we got that correct on there.
Knight of the Leelanau?
Leelanau, Leelanau Grape Fields.
Leelanau Grape Fields, okay.
At first, I planned to ask for pasta puttanesca at the round table, but I've decided instead to go with my own creation, pasta chef Rent Boyardee.
Okay. Rent Boyardee. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Gem.
Holy crap. 13 years. Finally, we got something new for Rent Boys.
Come up with that.
Chef Rent Boyardee. Wow. Nice.
I know. It's always surprises me, these creations. Please serve that with an Amaritas Vineyard 2018 Pinot Blanc.
Oh, my God. And a what? Yeah.
Amaritas, A-M-O-R-I-T-S.
Yeah, Amaritas.
Vineyard.
Yeah, Vineyard.
Affiliates were going long.
Amaritas Vineyard.
2018 Pinot Blanc.
Pinot Blanc. Okay. Gee, I mean, you're lucky we have such good service here, because that's not an easy one, but we'll get that. We'll get that for you.
I think you'll get here in time if you order it special.
I mean,
my previous donations represent 1 cent per word of my pandemic novel. However, at this time, I have had to reduce the rate to 1.5 cent per word. The novel continues to track current events, or rather, current events continue to track my novel. And I'm increasingly concerned that the government will, in fact, be taken over by the public health authorities, and the Committee for Preservation of Health and Safety will soon be directing our lives.
Well, stop. Yes, that, without a doubt, when it comes to these passports, which now is going to be a COVID passport, but very soon will be a health passport, you bet that the medical community, big pharma, they are all in on this. They want to control you. And just look at Bill Gates. These are the people behind it. They absolutely want to control you based upon your health. So, yes.
Based upon your money.
Well, but I think that is a big part of what's going on. Absolutely.
Well, Crush-a-Lot will put it in his next novel.
Yeah.
Then he finishes last paragraph. Anywho, a variant on the ever popular anyways, a couple of definitions for you.
Yeah.
Those who are aggressively attack people for not wearing masks are defiantly submissive. Defiantly submissive, that's good. Those who exude a smug arrogance over their complicit mask wearing can be said to be egalitarian elitists. Okay. Keep up the good work, and that will conclude our
well, he gets an F cancer as requested.
You've got karma.
And then briefly, the make good from James Fukumoto, who is Sir James Fukumoto, but we'll make him a black knight today because he was missed on the ceremony. I was listening to show 1290 with excitement and glee at being called to the round table. It seemed that perhaps I slipped off to enjoy the bourbon a tad too soon, for I was not called up to be pronounsticated. The show notes indicate me as Sir James Fukumoto as requested. However, I was missed. I listened to the knighting ceremony several times, and if I'm correct, I can now be knighted Sir James Fukumoto, Black Knight. Also, my jingles were missed. Mac and cheese and goat karma for all. Okay, no problemo.
You slaves can get used to mac and cheese. Cheap macaroni and cheap cheddar melted together. Mac and cheese.
You've got karma.
And that does indeed conclude our segment. I can tell you, yes, the affiliates, we are going very long. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have 17 people on the birthday list. Interestingly enough, I had to manually put Mimi on there for November 4th. But okay, just want to say it's not like her son has anything to do with the list or her husband has anything to do with the show. I put you on the list, Mimi, just so you know. Maybe she doesn't appreciate it. I don't know, but
she doesn't listen anymore. She's overboard.
Well, that opens a whole new can of worms. Thank you all so much. These are your special titles: the No Agenda Election Special, Executive Producer or Associate Executive Producer. Thank you for your talents, your times, and of course your treasures. This is very much appreciated. And use those credits because they are valid. They work on IMDb. Good old Marcus Couch is maintaining an entire IMDb credit section for the show, so make sure you look for that, which is just fantastic. And he probably needs some help with some of the night names, so he's been doing thousands of those. Another great way to participate in our Value for Value network. If you want to help us some more, we'll be doing another show. It'll be on Thursday, and it should be a fun one because who knows what we're going to talk about? We can't know now, can we? So for information on supporting us for that show, go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
Again, thank you very much for your time, your talent, and certainly your treasure working on the best podcast in the universe.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave. Shut up, slave.
I have a fun little multi-parter just to take us in a different direction today. As an old, well, I wouldn't say buddy of the show, but someone who I deconstructed or looked at what he was doing previously a couple of years ago, is former Overstock CEO Patrick Byrne. Do you remember Patrick Byrne's story?
No, I don't actually.
So Patrick Byrne actually had to resign from Overstock as CEO.
He was noodled?
No. He came out with the story that he was involved in the FBI Russia collusion. He was dating Maria Butina. You remember the redhead? Yeah, and she was she was probably working for perhaps the Russians, but also was being set up by the FBI. And he came out, and we played a couple clips. I should actually see when that was. And exactly did we do this? Patrick Byrne, and that was, let me just take a look at the,
that was 2017.
No, 2019, August of 2019. Yeah, that makes sense around that time. But he came out and he did a thing, I think, with Maria Bartiromo, and then also he did Chris Cuomo, and it was really weird. And he's like, I got to go away. There's crazy stuff happening. And he's showed up again a couple of days ago on his deepcapture.com. Deep Capture is his website where he explains everything that's happened to him. But he did a couple of podcast interviews with Undercover DC, which I think is these real journalists who work over there at Undercover DC, and so I take that with the respect that they put into it. And he gave us the continuation of his story, which has some gems in there as it relates, in a way, to what's happening or what isn't happening now with the Biden crime family, with the Clintons, who are still under investigation, apparently, for their foundation. And just to revisit how he got involved with the FBI initially was in 2002, I think 2003, he was kind of a gadfly on Wall Street. He was poking around. He was not the overstock CEO. I think people actually found him a little bit annoying. But he saw that there was a huge problem in the way Wall Street functions with settlements, and that basically there's 10 times as much stock or gold futures or anything in the system than actually exists in reality. And he believes that what he did led in part to, or at least understanding of, the 2008 meltdown, but a couple of other things that happened earlier than that, which you and I actually know about. So to revisit his credentials, he was asked by the FBI and actually was brought to a meeting with 9 senators, bipartisan, led by Arlen Specter, who asked him to take down this cabal within Wall Street. Here's a little reminder of that meeting and what he recalled of it.
Specter had 9 senators, 8 other senators, and they gave me this speech, and they said, we think you're right. In fact, it's worse than you think. Something is taking over Washington, D.C. Something is corrupting our government, and we can't even tell you what it is. It's like it's a foreign nation is subverting us, and we agree that Washington is just getting completely...
What? What'd you say?
I yelled China.
Oh, I couldn't hear you.
Hurting us. And, we agree that Washington is just getting completely corrupted, but we can't even tell you what's underneath it. And we're going to give you a letter that's going to sit that's going to sit in a safe the rest of your life. And they showed me this letter, and they told me this had not been done since World War II. And they told me that, and then they pulled out this letter. They said there's a new attorney general being sworn in tomorrow night. We're all going to be over at the White Oval Office, both sides of the aisle. And so all 9 senators are sitting around nodding to me through this whole speech. And they say, we're going to give the president and the attorney general this letter, and it's going to be sitting the rest of your life over at the DOJ. And there's this letter on Senate Judiciary Stationery, and the first paragraph, I was not allowed to even touch it. I had to bend over while someone held it and keep my hands behind my back, and they gave me about 10 seconds to scan it. But what it said, in the first paragraph, it says something about how concerned they had become about evidence of deep systemic corruption infiltrating the organs of our federal government.
I tried to fix the audio a bit on the fly. It's really, really crap. So while he was walking around Wall Street trying to figure out where exactly the corruption was, he was actually responsible for the arrest of someone we know, John.
You're going to see handcuffs come out this week. You need to live the rest of your life knowing that everyone you see us arrest now is going to suspect your fingerprints are on his problems. 3 days later, they arrested a guy named Raj Rajanamaritan from Galleon. Do you remember the first big arrest in like a decade ago on?
Do you remember Galleon?
No, I don't actually.
Galleon, I think you might have been there. It was one of these hedge funds in Silicon Valley, and I think we were Mevio at that point. Podshow had become Mevio, and we were trying to get them to invest money, and I thought you were there for sure. And we went to Galleon's office, and the head guy, he was on his way to New York, and he was like, oh, yeah, it was all Indian guys. And yeah. Well, we're gonna do this. We see great potential. And literally 2 weeks later, we see the guy getting arrested in New York for whatever insider trading, and they arrested 200 people. And Patrick Byrne was responsible for that.
Arrested like a decade ago on Wall Street.
I do. Yes.
There was 3 days later, and then they went on, and as I recall, they arrested about 200 people, and about 120 actually did time.
Okay. So that's his credentials, and that is verified, and he was, I don't know about his letter that he says he had, but now we get to the good meat of it, and this is all new information. So through a number of circumstances, he winds up dating Maria Butina, the redhead who was showing up at Republican get-togethers, and at first, he was a little wary. Now, he's not married or anything, so he could do whatever he wants with anybody. But at first, he kind of kept her at arm's length. And because he had previously been working with the FBI, he was going to go over to Russia. He called him and said, hey, I'm going to go over to Russia. And upon invitation of Maria Butina. So long story short, she comes back, and they're still kind of together, and the FBI gets in contact with him again.
And basically what happened was, looking back, they were already engineering it. And in fact, to really understand the details, you'd have to read Deep Capture. But what was going on is they were already engineering it with her, and I stumbled over it, is what happened.
Oh, so,
yeah, they were already engineering it, and I know that they were working on it by September 2015. I think they were working on it by July of 2015. It may have all started in March of 2015, and all that really happened was they knew all about me. I mean, they knew all about her when I reported her already, and that's why their actions from then on were quite strange with me, the men in black. And I could tell something. They weren't being honest with me, but I couldn't tell what. Well, in retrospect, with everything that came out since and putting all together, it's very clear this was all being set up by the summer of 2015, the whole Russiagate thing.
So he kind of accidentally stumbles into this Russiagate because he's hanging out with this Russian girl. But then the feds take him aside and they say, you know what? You got to come back to workforce. We need you to do something. And this is the most incredible part of the story.
They told me Hillary had taken a bribe. Well, they told me a couple things.
He said Hillary, just so you know, it's Hillary because it's not easy to understand.
They told me Hillary had taken a bribe. Well, they told me a couple things. They said, first, there's two groups in the Bureau investigating Hillary Clinton. This is late 2015. They said one group is going after her emails, and we think that's a whitewash. But the other group is in New York, and they're looking into Clinton financials, and they really want to get her. And Comey has been blocking that group, Patrick, from going aggressive, like using a sting. But information has come in that Hillary has taken a bribe, and they told me who it was from and how much. It was a foreign government. It was in the low tens of millions. I won't say who. How it was done was through the foundation. And they said, because we have that information, that group in New York now got the clout to force Comey's hand and force Comey to approve a sting. And now we're reaching out to you to set up the sting. And the sting was, there was a second government that they believed wanted to pay her a bribe, and it was in the teens of millions. And my assignment was a country I'd never been to, but my assignment was to befriend that government, find the bag man. They had a belief of who the bag man within the government was going to be. So it was my assignment to get to that country, befriend the government, befriend the bag man, and get that person 10 minutes alone in a room with Hillary Clinton. And that was the objective, that sometime in the next 2 months, there's going to be a room that Hillary Clinton walks in and the bag man is in, and they have 10 minutes alone. You take it from there, Patrick.
So the first bribe, I'm pretty sure, is the uranium one, because it was about $20 or $25 million that then went into the Clinton Foundation. I don't know who the second country was that were trying to bribe her. Could have been a number, maybe Ukraine, maybe Kazakhstan.
Could be Ukraine, could be China.
Could be China, could be anything. So he sets it up, and I'm filling in the blanks because it's very long-winded, as you can tell. He sets it up, and the way it's going to work is, so it's not on her calendar. Hillary is going to stay at a hotel. She's going to go down in the elevator, but she gets off on the 4th floor. She'll spend 10 minutes in the room. She grabs the bag, and then she goes down to the lobby, and no one knows that this took place. He set it up. It did take place, but then the curtain came down. Total blackout. And he was waiting for the FBI to come back to him and say, wow, great job. We nailed it. We got her. Good job. But no, that wasn't it. This happened.
And I said, I don't get it, fellas. I don't get it. And they gave me this story that was, look, we've figured out, the Bureau knows Hillary's going to be president. Nothing can stop that now. And first thing she's going to do when she becomes president is she's going to send her goons over to the FBI, and they're going to say, who investigated Hillary? And all of us who were part of it, Patrick, will be destroyed, and that includes you. So this mission has been scrubbed from the highest levels. This has been scrubbed.
So the mission had been scrubbed from the highest levels. Yes. In fact, he says when he went back to the feds a couple months later and said, this really doesn't sit well with me. And I guess they were in the room that was bugged, and when they were talking about this came from someone higher than the FBI, they were pointing to the ceiling as in, hey, we can't talk here, but he realized that it was indeed President Obama. And this is the best part. Now remember, everyone thought Hillary was going to win. And so the FBI, they got freaked out and they said, oh man, we can't be trying to take her down because she's going to win and she'll have our heads on sticks like a no agenda meetup. And here is the entire reason for Obama calling it off, at least the exposure of her corruption. Wait for this.
And they let their hair down and they told me the truth. They told me, Patrick, what's really going on is this. President Obama has his people across the federal bureaucracy at this point, but especially the DOJ. Think of there as being a Bunsen burner at the heart of the DOJ, and that information about the 2 bribes you were part of gathering is going to be sitting on that Bunsen burner. Hillary's going to be president for 8 years, and nothing's going to change that. But while she's president, the hand on that knob is going to be one of Barack Obama's people the whole time Hillary's president. If she's a good girl and defends Obamacare, that knob the flame stays low. If she's a bad girl and thinks for herself, that flame gets turned up high. And that way, Barack Obama is going to manage Hillary Clinton for the 8 years she's president. And then she's going to step down and Michelle's going to run. And Patrick, that's the plan.
When you hear it like this, it's totally logical. Totally logical.
Well, you can see that being their thinking.
Yeah. And I love that they wanted to have Michelle run after after Hillary, which
so
also
makes
makes
sense. The
sense.
public's a bunch of boneheads.
Well, yeah. Well,
we'll see after Tuesday how boneheaded they are.
So, just 2 straggling clips of this fantastic tale. This is how the FBI was being controlled by someone we know.
5 months later, they come back and say, we want you to get her back in your life. We want you to know this never happens in America. In all of our 3 careers, we've never heard of a
When he says her, they're talking about Butina.
Citizen being asked to sleep with anyone to get information.
Wow.
But you're being asked to resume a rekindle.
Yeah, they literally were asking him to start a relationship again with her, and here's the why. What?
Well, wait. Didn't the guy say, we've never asked somebody to sleep with someone to get information? Is that what he said?
The FBI. Not the CIA.
does too.
Not American citizens. Agents do all the time. But I don't think plain citizens are asked to do that.
Oh, you mean just some guy? Yeah, you're right. He's not a member of the agency.
Yeah, at this point,
he's just a confidential informant.
He's the CEO of Overstock, which makes it even better.
Yeah, to get information.
Wow.
But you're being asked to resume rekindle your romantic relationship with Maria, get to the bottom of anything to do with Maria and Russia here in the United States, and these instructions are your chain of command. Oh, the chain of command gets very interesting. They also explain that Director Brennan had of the CIA, that a law had been passed in 2008 that said under certain conditions, the CIA director can sign a piece of paper and kind of take control of the FBI. So the CIA itself was not involved, but its director was running the FBI for the purposes of what I'm telling you. And they said you're still working for the FBI. You're going to be back and with Maria. You'll be working for the FBI. The director of the CIA is commanding the FBI for this mission, and this whole thing is being done at the request of Barack Obama and President Obama.
And that is Executive Order 12333. Couldn't get any nicer. And indeed, now the language is complicated, but if you parse it, the CIA director can indeed take over and direct the FBI according to Executive Order 1233, which I don't know if it's still on the books, if there was an override by Trump, but that seems to fit within how Brennan was a part of this whole thing, continuously doing spying and affairs internally. We know that Brennan has always been Barack Obama's handler. Enter John Durham into the conversation. Oh, yes, we've been waiting. This is why Patrick Byrne came out now. He said, that the FBI, everyone had promised him they were going to tell all this before the election. And he says, now, they're not doing it. They're all talking about Durham's. Now, Durham is supposed to be it's supposed to be the thousands of sealed indictments report. This is what we've been waiting for. Patrick Byrne says he's been waiting for it for months and months, but COVID slowed it all down. And Durham is such a great guy because he's the guy that unwound the whole Whitey Bulger corruption FBI scandal, and he's working on it.
So the guy who cleaned that up was John Durham. John Durham has in real life, John Durham is the prosecutor who went in and put together this massive federal prosecution that unwound a 20-year conspiracy. So there's no one more experienced than in the country than he is, I suppose, other than Rudy Giuliani, if you go back far enough, but who took down the mafia in the late 80s, early 90s in New York. So that's John Durham. Now, but I think what's happened is this just is sprawling. I think everywhere they dig, it just sprawls. I think that what they're discovering is like what I discovered when I bumped heads with Wall Street. And at first I thought I was dealing with like a couple criminals on the fringe. And it turns out, and I eventually started realizing I was like in a ship, a wooden ship that you're down in the hold and you find that the whole thing is worm-eaten. The whole, you thought it was just a couple of timbers that needed to be replaced. No, the whole thing, the wood is just rotten, worm-eaten. Well, I think that's what John Durham is finding. I think there are so many places this sprawls into. And I think that he's probably, my guess, and so this is pure guesswork, I don't know anything that's not in the press. I mean, that's where I think that he's trying to be really complete and deliver everything in one go. And I think that if they had it to do over again, I wonder if they would make the same decision, because it just gets so sprawling.
And right now, the latest count is over 200,000 sealed indictments across the United States.
Yeah. In line with these clips, I've got one that's just kind of spiced things up.
Okay.
This is from October 9th, and we have heard nothing since. And you'll remember this. We will all remember it when we hear it.
So, Dana, you'll remember I was close to this even when I was a member of Congress when I served on the Benghazi Committee now, what seems like a little bit time ago. We've got the emails. We're getting them out. We're going to get all this information out so the American people can see it. You'll remember there was classified information on a private server. It should have never been there. Hillary Clinton should never have done that. It was unacceptable behavior. It's not the kind of thing that leaders do. They don't put that kind of information out, and you can see whether it's Russia or China or Iran or the North Koreans who want to get their hands on this kind of information. Classified information needs to stay in the right places. Secretary Clinton, when she was here at the State Department, did not do that.
The president has the authority to declassify anything he wants. All authority is to him. Could he declassify it and order it released if he wanted to and if he ordered?
Absolutely. We're going to get there. We're going to get this information out so the American people can see it.
If he were to order that, would there be concerns about maybe health and safety of sources or methods that could possibly be in these emails if there's classified information?
So, Dana, I've been at this a long time with President Trump for 4 years now almost. I've never seen him do anything that would put any kind of asset, any kind of one of our officers in any harm's way. He wouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. We'll get the information out that needs to get out, and we'll do it in a way that protects the intelligence sources that we need to protect.
And last question on that, will that happen before the election?
Do it as fast as we can. I certainly think there'll be more to see before the election.
Well, no. Unless it happens today. Oh, hold on, John. I'm sorry. For some reason, you went on mute. Say again.
I said that this is not happening. This Pompeo is just full of shit. So
it's obviously not happening. Although we do have the Biden crime syndicate, the Hunter Biden laptop from hell, as it's been billed by the president, which you know comes directly from Bannon. Steve Bannon over there with his War Room Pandemic and his host, Steve Bannon. They have a new document. It's the dead man switch. Just when you thought it couldn't get crazier with Anthony Weiner having a folder named insurance policy with thousands of emails. Let's go to the war room to listen in to see what they've discovered now on Hunter Biden's laptop.
Jag Maxey's going to have more. He and Noah Benjamin, they've got the receipts. Anything they can't get in the show, they're going to be putting up on the on the site, right? This is where you got these guys of, you're the worst nightmare of these guys.
Major dump. And what's so frightening is there's more. We've been going through this for days and days, and in Hunter's little secret PDF file, every single thing is a crime. He is holding this over every single person he knew. So people start coming forward because he is not on your side.
You think he held all this for a reason?
100%.
It's a treasure chest. No chance that this had a dead man switch on it.
They were all put there by Hunter in a special file designed to betray everybody he ever did crimes with.
Because it's so mind-boggling. Tom Winters at NBC News. We invite you to come over today. Hey, you sit with Jack and Noah, sit with the team. We'll show you all the receipts, show you all the evidence.
We're already handing out thumb drives, so you may as well come get one too.
Come on, brother. Come on over. We got the receipts.
These guys are all jitty about it.
Yeah, going nowhere.
Well, I don't know. Let's see the PDF. I'm sure it'll have to go somewhere sometime. Something has to happen.
Probably on Wednesday.
Yeah, if Joe wins, right away, take down. If Joe loses, who cares?
That's pretty much what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
I ran into this on one of these same lines of what you just played.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran into this. I've ran into it online. I cannot find it. It's not on the ABC rundowns. It's not when you run the news. Like, for example, I do have an ABC, the Friday rundown of the news, which is a minute 46. You want to hear all the news rolled into their T's.
The sprint to the finish. President Trump and Joe Biden crisscrossing the Midwest, dueling rallies in Minnesota and Wisconsin as the Midwest and the West see that alarming surge in COVID cases. The president downplaying the virus, saying doctors get more money if someone dies from COVID. And his son Don Jr. saying overnight, why aren't they talking about deaths? The number's almost nothing. Just as Americans learned of another 1,000 deaths in 24 hours. Joe Biden tonight saying Donald Trump has surrendered to the virus. And the major headline emerging this evening involving the early vote and what we're now seeing in Texas. 4 days to go, but when will we know the results? Even as President Trump insists on knowing the results on election night, the reality check here tonight. 8 states, including key battlegrounds, won't even begin opening mail-in ballots until Election Day. So which states could we know first, and which key battlegrounds are warning tonight be prepared to wait for days, possibly, for final results? John Carlin, Mary Bruce, standing by live. The highest number yet, more than 92,000 new cases of COVID in just 24 hours. That was the concern as the colder weather arrives. Record numbers from Wisconsin to Ohio to Illinois tonight, where they're halting eating in restaurants again. And the state health director there saying they're now seeing the flu and COVID in some patients. The images coming in tonight, a deadly earthquake, the magnitude 7.0 quake toppling buildings, hitting parts of Turkey and Greece. Here at home, outraged this evening. One of the officers in the Breonna Taylor case now suing Taylor's boyfriend for shooting him. Actress Lori Loughlin reporting to prison tonight. And the first major snow in the Northeast and what to expect from Chicago to Boston this weekend.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, say it with us now.
We're all gonna die.
That's right. There you go. That's your ABC Friday moment.
So I ran into this. This is Tom Yamas.
Yes, this is fantastic.
Yeah, but where did this come from?
What do you mean, where did it come from? Why did he do it, you mean?
It's a Tom Yamas. We know he's an ABC correspondent. Yeah. Where did this play?
Didn't it play on ABC?
Not ABC Nightly News. You just heard the rundown. It wasn't in that. It wasn't on the one before. Was it on GMA? Was it on ABC News Stream, which is what I suspect?
Interesting.
I can't find it. All I have is the clip that I stole from Twitter. And it's a good clip, and it looks like they're trying to do the job, and I'm sure they're going to, we reported on it.
Yeah. But it's like Wolf Blitzer saying, well, I push back on Nancy Pelosi. I push back on the DNC.
Yeah, it's bullcrap.
It's a hedge.
This is the clip.
It's a hedge.
At issue was Hunter Biden profiting off his dad's work as vice president, and did Joe Biden allow it? We're talking about millions of dollars in at least 2 countries.
Mr. Vice President, Tom Yamas with ABC News. How you doing? Got a quick question for you. It's a question we tried to ask repeatedly. Can we ask you about Ukraine and China? But kept getting blocked. Questions about foreign deals his son Hunter Biden pursued.
My father, Joe Biden.
In countries where Joe Biden was working as America's top diplomat. In 2014, Ukrainians, sick of corruption, revolted. Vice President Joe Biden went to Kiev to help the new government.
You have to fight the cancer of corruption.
But then, something strange happened. Just 3 weeks later, a Ukrainian natural gas company, Burisma, accused of corruption, appoints Hunter Biden, seen here in their promotional videos, to their board of directors, paying his firm more than $1 million a year. Hunter, a lawyer who had just been discharged from the Navy Reserves for testing positive for cocaine.
Mr. Hunter Biden.
He had served on other boards, but had no known experience in Ukraine or natural gas. We went to Kiev and found even among Joe Biden supporters in Ukraine, Hunter's hiring was troubling.
How do you judge what Hunter Biden was doing?
I think that Hunter Biden did a very bad thing, and he was very wrong. He allowed his name to be abused.
I think I found the piece on ABC News, on the ABC News website. I think you're right. It probably didn't run. It didn't air, but they did produce this video piece and a huge article about all the problems.
It's a hitch.
It is. Biden sidesteps questions about his son's foreign business dealings, but promises ethics pledge. And then
pledge. Well, that covered. Oh, okay. Never mind.
We're all good.
Drop it because there's a pledge.
Drop it. Yeah, he's pledged something. I'll put that in the show notes. It's interesting. It's good reporting, actually. It's in there.
Well, they do a good job, and they cover all the bases. But so what?
And we're bitching about mainstream. I think we should probably talk about don't Ralph Glenn Greenwald.
Well, you want to talk? Yes, you mentioned this happened right at the end of our last show. Mm-hmm. I want to start that discussion by, what show was Greenwald all the time? He'd come in and help them out.
Democracy Now!
He was there constantly.
Go to.
They loved him. So they throw him under the bus.
Well, wait, should we first explain what happened? Not everybody follows.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Glenn Greenwald.
Right, why don't you explain what happened? You caught it before I did.
So Glenn Greenwald, who we've always been admirers of his work.
Yeah, he does good work.
He's kind of straight down the middle kind of guy. At least when it comes to
progressive angle.
Progressive angle, right?
He's not dishonest.
We followed him since he started what we call the $250 million blog. Because that's what we were joking about it, because it was set up and financed by Pierre Omidyar from the Omidyar Network. And he's a PayPal billionaire, and he's a very, very, he's kind of like a Soros guy. And he sponsors a lot of liberal left groups, etc. So we are all kind of looking at The Intercept, which we jokingly call the $250 million blog, as, okay, we'll see how long it takes until the corruption sets in. And Glenn Greenwald kind of happily went on his way and continued to do great reporting. And this was after the Snowden revelations, when he was working for The Guardian, and the New York Times was in that gambit as well. Of course, that all turned sour because everyone loved what Snowden was, top of the bill. Everybody loved him until WikiLeaks started doing stuff that was anti-Hillary Clinton, emails, etc. Then Glenn Greenwald somehow by association became kind of tainted and like, ooh, he's kind of icky because he stands up for WikiLeaks and WikiLeaks is no good. WikiLeaks also used to be loved by everybody, for those of you who haven't been around for 7 or 8 years. And all of a sudden he abruptly resigns from The Intercept, saying that he wanted to publish, and he has contractually, he can publish whatever he wants, and if The Intercept doesn't want it, then he can take it to some other outlet. So they refused to publish his article, at least without heavy editing, where I think it was kind of only mentioning the Hunter Biden issues, not necessarily
No, it was pretty much about the Hunter Biden coverage. I read it.
You read the piece?
Oh, yeah. It's out. It's on Substack.
Oh, right,
with Taibbi's stuff. And it was about, and he said that they would let him run the piece except he has to take off out anything about Joe Biden and any anti-Joe Biden stuff.
Right.
And as he described it on his various interviews, he ended up on Tucker's show. He described it as they want Joe Biden to be the president, and so they wouldn't let me run this piece, and so he quit in a huff. And
for which we congratulate him, and I immediately, value for value, I immediately subscribed to him on Substack. Tina subscribed too. I love him. I love what Taibbi, I don't agree, obviously, with everything, but that's how it's supposed to go. These guys are good journalists, and they need to be supported, and I will gladly help him with this podcast because he needs some sound help. Starting with that, I bought that damn mic that he has to see, and it's crap. The Shure 55. It's not the mic for me, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, that's not the mic I would recommend.
No. Anyway, so he also used to be, in fact, we've probably played many clips of Glenn Greenwald from Democracy Now! Because that's the beat.
Because he's good. He's a little wordy. He's a little wordy when he writes, too. He's not the writer of Taibbi is the guy you want to read. If you want to just read some tight writing, it's dynamite. Greenwald is wordy, and he goes on and on. So he wrote this thing. So that what got me was listening to Amy basically throw him under the bus and then read from a press release by the editor-in-chief of The Intercept, some woman who, if you look at a picture of, you go, oh my God, I can just see this coming down Broadway. She's a SJW up to the max. And she's a harsh woman. And she reads this press release and just and leaves it at that without defending him or anything. I thought this was one of the lowest, creepiest things Amy has ever done on that show, to throw out her guy who's done nothing but help that show and throw him under the bus like this. It was disgusting.
In media news, the Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Glenn Greenwald has resigned from The Intercept after accusing the news outlet of censoring an article he wrote about Joe Biden. Greenwald, who co-founded The Intercept, accused editors of refusing to, quote, publish the article unless I agree to remove all of the sections critical of the candidate they want to win. Greenwald's article focused on disputed corruption allegations about Biden's son Hunter that first appeared in the New York Post. In a statement, The Intercept said in part, while he accuses us of political bias, it was he who was attempting to recycle the dubious claims of a political campaign, the Trump campaign, and launder them as journalism.
Oh, wow. And there was no word, there was nothing like, she didn't mention anything of the work that he's done with her or on the show. None of that.
She is such a creep for doing this report.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always thought she was a creepy, but she is a total creep for doing this to Glenn Greenwald. And by the way, Scott Adams, just to make you feel a little better, talked about this a little bit and called him Jeff Greenwald. So
I don't know why that should make me feel better. It is funny. I do enjoy it.
But this was disgusting.
Wow.
She never asked for his comment, never brought, normally in a normal day and age, she would have brought him on. He would have come on. And he would have done his normal yak thing, but no, she didn't invite him. She just read that press release from the Intercept, slamming him. And a lot of it goes back, according to Taibbi, it actually goes back to Greenwald's not going along with the program with Russiagate.
Right.
He was a naysayer from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, he was skeptical about it, and he asked questions, and
he didn't get answers. Get any answers.
I mean, it's kind of like Dershowitz. Dershowitz was the constitutional lawyer of America, and the minute he said, "Hey, I don't see it that way," then all of a sudden he's the douche.
He's done.
He's out.
Noodled.
Yeah, he's completely noodled. Speaking of noodles, let me just give you a few. We got some interesting noodles going on. We should probably play the Noodle Gun song. Oh, that's not it. Where is it? He is.
Shoot you in the face with my noodle gun, you racist piece of shit. I got my pasta Glock locked and loaded.
So Noodle Gun is where people try to virtue signal, usually Black Lives Matter or something of the ilk, and it backfires on them. And this is for Northwestern University. So during a recent online town hall meeting, several employees admitted and you know how this goes. You see this in corporate emails all the time. They admitted publicly they are racists and even admitted to acting as gatekeepers of white supremacy. This was just written word. You know how it goes, like, hi, I'm the president of this school, and I realize I'm a racist. I have acted as a gatekeeper of white supremacy. I'm sorry, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. Well, now they're being sued for being racist because they basically admitted it. Now there's an investigation underway to take them to court for doing exactly what they admitted they had done. So they were
idiots.
They were virtue signaling and getting called out on it. It's fantastic.
That's the best story ever.
That's a great story. I feel sad for the Girl Scouts of America. Oh boy, they already noodle gunned the Boy Scouts, but there was a tweet that went out that said. Hold on. Here it is. Congratulations, Amy Coney Barrett, on becoming the 5th woman appointed to the Supreme Court since its inception in 1789. And they go on to show that Ruth Bader Ginsburg and I think Sotomayor and Amy Coney Barrett were in the Girl Scouts. So they're proud of this. Uh-oh. Noodle gun. Oh, no, because they had to take the tweet down. Because immediately, Amy Coney Barrett believes trans girls shouldn't be in the Girl Scouts because she doesn't believe that trans girls are girls. This is horrible. They're ruining everything.
It's a noodle.
It's a big-ass noodle. And then a minor noodle. Costco has... dropped a particular brand of coconut milk because...
yes, this is a great story. This is hardly minor. I forgot about this.
Costco joins 25,000 retailers, including Walgreens, Food Lion, and more, which following PETA's investigation, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, have banned the sale of these coconut products because they use forced monkey labor to retrieve the coconuts.
Forced monkey labor.
I thought that's what we were on this podcast. But no. There's real forced monkey labor, and we're very sad to hear about it all. And that's
So apparently, to get these coconuts down, these monkeys run up the coconut tree, and then they shake the tree, or they grab the coconuts and maybe throw them down, and they think it's fun. I don't know. But there's a lot of monkeys that do this. But they're somehow being forced to do this. I don't know how that works. Are they in chains and bondage? They're dragging them out there. Somebody pounding a drum in the corners. The monkeys are all going up and down and saying, oh, we got to break out of here. It just doesn't make any sense. It's just the monkeys.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab.
Yeah, on No Agenda.
And indeed, we do have a few people to thank, and maybe there's a monkey in the group. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
So, isn't life great? It's a great time to be alive and to be doing a podcast. Woohoo!
Forced monkey labor. And then they knuckle under.
I know. Costco.
That's what's so funny.
I'm going to turn in my card. Say, I can't be a part of your club anymore.
I have to get a clip from a thing called Driving While Black. It's a documentary, and it's mostly about the Green Book.
Yes.
And it's a great documentary, and they talked to the publisher, the original publisher, a black guy, who dreamed up the Green Book back in the 30s, I believe, and he took it to publishers to try to get it printed. And one guy, I think it was in New Jersey, says, yeah, we'll print it. A lot of people refuse. You're black, I'm not going to print your book.
Yeah.
And so he says he starts to print the book, and a bunch of his employees, exactly the same as today. They're all virtue signaling because then it was okay to be racist.
Right.
They said, we're not printing this book. We're not going to print this book. I'm not printing this book. All his employees. He said, well, if you don't print the book, you're fired. I'll just get somebody else in here to print the book. And they all knuckled under and print the book. Nobody does that anymore.
No.
Okay, this is what happened with Woody Allen's book. Okay, you're the boss. We're gonna not print the book because you said so. I just thought it was great that the guy said, yeah, you can go work somewhere else, asshole.
Well, there's only one true things you can say to that when someone wants to do that to you or your company.
Go podcasting!
Starting with Valerie Steensland in Kirkland, Washington, of all places, where Costco is. $130. And she loves the show. Baroness Monica, these are our donors for show 1291, our producers. Baroness Monica from Drayton Valley, Alberta. $129.10. Nicholas Vossler in Marina Del Rey, 12345.
Just one quick stop on Nicholas. It says, my grandmother was just diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Could I get an F cancer? Yes, we'll put that at the end. She survived a political concentration camp as a young girl during World War II, led the development of several mental health facilities throughout my hometown in Colorado, and somehow raised my dad to turn out pretty all right. If anyone can miraculously beat this thing at her age, she would be the one. Yes, we will definitely do an F cancer for her.
Yes, and wish her well for us. Andrew J. Giannettino, 88.88. He says, this is interesting. After coming out with a head cold, I got a COVID test last week. I turned on No Agenda and used Google Maps to give me the address. Lo and behold, the ETA was 33 minutes. Neil Bottomley's name. He came in with 8888. Neil Bottomley, 8008 in Barnsley, UK. D, plain old D, 77.77 in Castle Rock, Colorado. Michael D. Verdier in Dublin, 75.
From found us through Tom Woods. All right, thank you.
Another Tom Woods. He's making up for lost time.
Did want a de-douching, so we'll do that for him.
You've been de-douched.
Sherry Laurie from Victoria, Australia, in Dollaroo, 70. Riley Fettig in Unionville, Indiana, 6771. Birthday call out. Skylar Sanders, 6659. Sabode Peth in Metairie, Louisiana.
Sabode has been. I haven't seen Sabode on the list for a long time. Welcome back, Sabode.
I agree. I haven't seen him for a while, but he's back. John Monaco in Highland Heights, Kentucky, 5510. Terry Gluff in Waukesha, Wisconsin, 5353. He's got a douchebag call out.
I want to call out my friend.
D-douche.
Yeah, D-douche.
You've been de-douched.
And calling out my friend Jeff as a douchebag for never donating.
Douchebag.
All right.
Andrew Brown in London, Ontario, 50. These are following people, are $50 donors, name and location where applicable. Dorian Kernetsky in Rockledge, Pennsylvania. Jim Laraway in Fort Lauderdale. John Carpenter in St. Louis, Missouri. Andrew Oxenham in Knoxville, Tennessee. He is going to be knighted, I believe, today. And he's got, we want Negronis and garlic bread. I think that's on there already. Cameron Dodd in Pearland, Texas, 50. Anonymous in Greenwood, Indiana. Timothy Moore in Arlington, Texas. And that's our short little list there. And that concludes our producers for show 1291. I want to thank each and every one of them for helping us out on this show. And it really makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference. We appreciate everyone bringing it as usual. This is our value for value system. We've developed it. We've been using it for a long time, over a decade, probably closer to the 13 years we've been in existence. We don't take any corporate money, any commercials, which is why we can go as long as we want, as short as we want. We can talk about whatever we want. We are only beholden to the producers who give us their time, their talent, and their treasure, and we appreciate it very much. We do look forward to doing another show, which will be the post-election show, the big one. We will deconstruct everything if we're still here on Earth. To support us for that, go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
As requested.
You've got karma.
Well, we do have quite the list for today. Here we go. Dorian Kernetsky, 36. D says happy birthday to her smoking hot husband, Matt, who turns 38. Anonymous girlfriend, happy birthday to her amazing douchebag boyfriend, Nathan, who turned 30 on the 29th. Lisa Alanis, my sister-in-law, celebrated her birthday yesterday. Dave Basor, happy birthday to his wonderful daughter, Kimera. who celebrated on November 1st. That's today, 33 today. No Agenda Meetups dude named Daniel. He is calling out his smoking hot wife, Amanda, who is also a listener. It's her magic birthday today, 33. Congratulations. Sir Mark Hall celebrating. We had dinner with him the other day. Congratulations, Mark. Sir Daddy-O says happy birthday to brother Jimmy. Sir John Fletcher from Hog Story. NoAgendaStream.com, 37 today. Christina Thomas celebrates tomorrow. Sir Code Monkey, happy birthday to his brother Joe, who'll be 40 tomorrow. Robert Quirback, happy birthday to his daughter Brielle, who turns 11 on the 3rd. Riley Fettig, 26 on November 3rd. Cheryl Cox, happy birthday to her son Josh, also on the 3rd. Kevin Fitzpatrick, 45, he will turn on the 3rd. Lindsay Heitman says happy birthday to Rob V. Case, who'll be celebrating the 4th. And Mimi will be celebrating her birthday on the 4th. We send love and happy birthday to her. And happy birthday to Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin white paper 12 years ago. It was published, and they never had a fight. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. Holy crap-a-moly, we got a long list of stuff to do here. This is
huge.
This is. We need a big blade for our knighting and daming.
I got the big boy here.
That is the big one. All right. On the stage, I might as well just say it now. We need Christina Thomas, James Fukumoto, Michael Goodell, Robert Quirbeck, Andrew Oxenham, Victoria Saucier, Emilio, and Robert Kerback. Do we already have Robert? No, we already have Robert. Okay, I got that. So we're not going to let Robert do it twice. Not today. All right, up on the stage here, the podium. All of you are about to receive your official Knight or Dame title. Thank you very much for your support of the No Agenda Show in the amount of $1,000 or more. And I am very proud to pronounceate the Dame Christina Judoka of Penns Woods, Sir James Fukumoto. He is indeed a Black Knight. Sir Crush-a-Lot, Knight of Linao Grapefields, and he is a Black Knight. Sir Robert becomes Knight of the Naughty Bits. Sir Ox, Scruffy Knight of the Scruffy City. Dame Tori of Capistan, and Emilio becomes Sir Molten Cheese. For you, we've got quite a list of stuff, which I'll read to you now. We have Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Jameson and Vernors, and a wood-grilled ribeye, Negative Rights, coffee and a 1-year-old Panettone, coffee and ramen, Pasta Chef Rent Boyardee, Emeritus Vineyard 2018 Pinot Blanc, Negronis and garlic bread, and then we'll continue with some beer and blunts, Brazilian hotties and cachaça, cowgirls and coffee varnish, Rubenesque, Women and Rosé, geishas and sake, vodka and vanilla, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider and escorts, ginger ale and gerbils, breast milk and pablum, diet soda and video games, and of course, as always, mutton and mead. You can head over to noagendanation.com/rings, hand off all your info to Eric the Shill, and you too will get that beautiful signet ring, which is your method to hitting people in the mouth. It leaves a nice little mark, an ITM and some Latin stuff on it. You got your sealing wax and your official certificate. And thank you again for supporting No Agenda. It is the best podcast in the universe, and clearly also your best podcast in the universe.
No Agenda.
Parties taking place everywhere. No Agenda meetups. This is how you can get together. It's a great way to get together, actually, especially since we've had all of this lockdown and months of panic. If you just want to hang out with people who get it, who won't be triggered by anything that you say, even if they don't agree with you, it's a great time to hang out with people at the meetups. NoAgendaMeetups.com is where you can find out where one is taking place near you. You can schedule one, and we love getting reports. Bellingham, come on in.
In the morning, this is Thomas at the NA meetup in Bellingham, Washington, the city of subdued excitement. Please don't enslave me, Kamala.
This is Taylor in Bellingham, Washington. I would like some ass cream and bear fillings, please.
This is Jake in Bellingham. I'm about to go home and take a nap for humanity.
Danny up in Bellingham, and I got hairy legs.
In the morning.
In the morning.
There you go, Bellingham doing their business. We have a report from Kansas City.
Hey, No Agenda Nation, it's Sir Spencer Wolf of Kansas City, coming at you live from Knuckleheads. It's Halloween, it's a full moon, and we're having a great time. It's like a party.
Dame DeLorean here at Knuckleheads on Halloween. My nose is stuffed, but my amygdala is still small. Thank you for your courage.
It's always a party in Kansas City. This is one of the Matts. In the morning, everybody.
Hi, this is Liz. Stay safe.
This is Matt Leroy from Wichita, Kansas. Currently a douchebag, not for too much longer. I'm out here doing the work. We drove up 3 hours, driving back 3 hours tonight. Have fun out there. Get Monation.
Special thanks to C-Mike for lending us his professional grade recording equipment. And as always, keep an eye on NoAgendaMeetups.com for future KC meetups.
That is always, keep an eye on NoAgendaMeetups.com. Yes, indeed. And with the producer who posted the Albuquerque election night meetup, please contact Mimi so she can confirm the time with you. She has some other questions. That is the back office. Happening today, the Tiny Amygdalas of Anchorage, which probably is already underway, 1 o'clock Alaska time. Philadelphia Local 76, they meet up at 6 o'clock at the Good Dog Bar. Get Out the Hoax is the title of that one. Slavery for President 2020. On Tuesday, Election Watch Party, Bunker Hill, 7 o'clock at Sage House, and that's in Connecticut. Also on Election Day, live No Agenda Meetups Election Night. This is the virtual one. This is Paul the Book Guy organizing that. On Wednesday, the Hurricane No Agenda Rooftop Meeting at St. Pete's Beach in Florida. Wow, that's going to be great. They also have a web RTC meetup. See the website for details. That is, of course, noagendameetups.com. And next Thursday, Guy Fawkes Coffee Stroll and Troll in Quebec at St. Roche Coffee Shop. Pablo will be organizing for you. And on the horizon for November the 7th, we've got Dallas, Texas, Midland, Texas, Burlington, Ontario, and Boston, Massachusetts. On the 10th, Inland Empire, California. On the 13th, Tucson, Charlotte, North Carolina, Low Country, South Carolina. On the 14th, Friendsgiving, Nashville on the 14th, Catskill Mountains on the 14th, Michigan Mobile on the 14th, and many, many more. All you need to do is go to noagendameetups.com, find out where there's one taking place near you. If there isn't one, all you got to do is set it up yourself. It's easy and it's just like a party. NoAgendaMeetups.com.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be. Drinking all health is lame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. Yeah, it's like a party.
Woohoo!
I got a few things left.
First thing, do you have an end of show ISO?
Let's go over the ISO.
Did your mic fall off the stand again? You can't cover that. I hear it.
It's funny that you can hear that.
I've heard it 3 times in the show, at least 2 times in the show today.
No, this is the only time it fell off. I don't know what you were hearing.
Okay. Well, how does that happen? Just tighten that stuff up. Tighten it up.
Let's start. I got it tight as I can. Let's start with Biden, the Biden ISO, just to start this off. We heard this already.
Yes, the Biden ISO. Is this the one you're talking about?
Standards for schools, businesses to open safely.
Okay. Well, let's go to this one. Doing things.
Is that an ISO?
It says doing thing, ISO.
Doing thing. Got it.
Doing your thing.
Oh, I like that one as an ISO. That's kind of, I like that.
Yeah, it's good end of show. We're doing our thing.
Doing our thing. Yes. Okay. Anyone else, or is that it?
Yeah, I got 2 more.
Okay.
Reckless.
Okay, reckless.
Reckless incompetence and intentional cruelty.
No. I'm not all in for Amy today.
That's fine. I like that. And then there's the Tucson one from last time.
We didn't play that one last time?
Nope.
What's up, Tucson?
No, I think
doing your thing.
I think that's the one. I think doing your thing is the one. It's the future president of America.
Yeah, you might as well go.
Might as well go for that.
We're ahead of the curve.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a couple more clips just to wrap things up. For one, I have a WTF clip from Democracy Now! Tell me what you think this is about.
30-year-old immigrant from Mexico who was killed by Border Patrol last week in the town of San Isidro is demanding an independent investigation into his fatal shooting.
Wait a minute. The dead guy is demanding? No, this can't be right. Let me hear that again.
30-year-old immigrant from Mexico who was killed by Border Patrol last week in the town of San Isidro is demanding an independent investigation into his fatal shooting.
Now, there's got to be something before that she's dead.
It's beside the point. Her sentence was so long that you could easily clip this this out. This shows you how easy you can do this shit. If you want to screw with Trump, you can do it. You can screw with Amy. I'm just screwing with her.
Okay.
There was something between.
All right. Well done.
This shows you how easy it is.
Yeah, well done.
Here is this is another one. This is again from Democracy Now! Not that I'm just hounding this show on this show, but I want to play this clip. It's called How Is This News? And it ran right with her news presentation as if it was any sort of news that anybody cares about. And it begs the question, how is this news?
And longtime peace and justice activist Ted Glick is continuing a month-long hunger strike ahead of the presidential election as he hopes to encourage undecided voters to support Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden. Glick launched a hunger strike on October 3rd and will conclude it on Election Day. He spoke to Democracy Now! Last night.
I'm on day 27 of what will end up being a 32-day fast to defeat Trump. I've lost 30 pounds so far.
Wow.
I'm doing this to underline the urgency of our situation and how people who get it on how bad Trump is, they need to vote for Biden in the battleground states in particular. We need to stand up now for our rights, our people, our climate, and doing it by getting Trump out of there.
Sad.
How is this news?
What, the guy's on a hunger strike?
I mean, the whole thing. It's just like, this is a promotion for Biden. Guy's starving himself for Biden. Great.
What was this guy's name?
Glick.
Is it? Do we know Glick?
No, that's the other thing. I don't know who this guy is.
Is it James Glick?
No. Well, that would be funny, but no, it's not James
Okay.
Glick.
All right. Very odd.
I got another clip here. We was talking about spiking the ball.
Yeah.
So John Lithgow writes this children's book of rhymes. It's all about Trump and he's a jerk, and it goes on and on. So they put a bunch of Hollywood guys together, the same old usual suspects, and they read segments from the book. And I just, it goes on forever, but I clipped a bit of it. I clipped 29 seconds from a few of the people jump in.
Now, this is the latest thing that the Hollywood celebrities have been doing, is they'll get on a Zoom call and they'll take either like I saw Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and they were doing that.
The
table reads, exactly. And it's supposed to be cool. It's so cool. Oh my God, I couldn't believe they were doing a table read. Man, it was fantastic.
This is a variation, because this is a book that Lithgow wrote, and they just start reading from it, and you get a genuine sense of spiking the ball when you just listen to these 29 seconds of the very beginning.
The Tories, or the Tiger King. Take a moment to pity the poor GOP. They're as lost and confused as a party can be. Inspired by their recent calamitous stories, here's a family fable. We'll call it the Tories.
Generations had passed, but the Tories endured, a Washington family proud and assured. Their forebears had left them with money and power, Reagan, the Bushes, and Dwight Eisenhower.
What? That completely made no sense to me, any of that. I have no idea.
It's a poem about some lion king, and it's supposed to be Trump, and they don't want to say Republicans. And then you say, it's just, you watch this and you go,
it's pathetic.
Who do these people think they are, for one thing? I find
I predict that as we slowly come out of what we're in, Hollywood is dead. Movies are gone. Movies are not going to come back. The streaming companies can't make money. Netflix does not make money. Amazon, okay, but they're not. They just have video on demand. They're not really an algorithmic type of deal. Disney doesn't want half of the crap. They're controlled by China. These actors have been out of work for a year. And people are sick and tired of a-hole celebrities complaining about sitting in their mansions. I think it's over. I think Hollywood stuff is changing. This is the year of the podcast. It's clear. It's. I
didn't see that coming.
I think Hollywood. Oh, hello, in Hollywood, who made $100 million this year? Joe Rogan, a podcaster.
Yeah, that's true.
Squeeze me.
Okay, the last clip I have, I got other clips, but I think I got one more maybe after this. But this is a clip, a forgettable clip from years ago. This is John Kerry talking about that Ukrainian deal that where Biden got the guy fired for $1 billion.
I will tell you, because as Secretary of State, I was deeply involved in this. All of us in the administration were trying to get rid of that prosecutor. From Obama to the Secretary of State to the Vice President, all of us were working on that. The ambassador, and we knew if Ukraine was going to survive and win the revolution in the end, the Maidan, they had to get rid of that prosecutor.
Oh, man. It would make my day to have all these people locked up. I mean, just for that head alone, and by the way, nice way to violate the no carry rule, but okay, so we've played the clip before, so I guess you could call it a throwback clip. Yeah, but we do have rules about John Kerry clips.
I know, but he's not too boring here.
That was a good one. He was
actually animated.
I'd forgotten that he was so intimately involved.
Yeah, he's another part of the whole scam.
Douchebags. All of them. All right.
Well, nothing bad's going to happen. If you want to play one last clip for me, we can go out.
Yeah, sure.
I have the C-SPAN call in. Typical. This is a Biden supporter calling in, and it's all sounds so reasonable, and then it kind of isn't.
He wants to keep a chaotic type government, and he's doing a good job of it.
Bill, how did
you support him? That's fine.
How did you vote in 2016?
How did I vote in 2016? Is that your question?
Yes.
Yes. I did not vote for Trump in 2016.
Okay.
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
He's in Georgia, and he's telling Georgia's going to go blue, and blah, blah, blah. He goes on and on. He said, sounds like he's from Georgia. And then he's been a hill butt since the beginning. I mean, come on, get these guys off the air.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, every country gets the government she deserves, so we too shall get whatever we deserve tomorrow here in the United States. This time it's a little more interesting because
actually it's Tuesday.
It's not tomorrow? Oh, shit.
We wish.
It's Tuesday. Tomorrow, Tuesday, whatever. I've already voted. I got my sticker. And on Thursday's show, regardless, or as we can say, irregardless, since it's in the dictionary, I will have a review of my Pine phone, my Linux phone, which just arrived, which also functions as a desktop computer. So,
yes, it does.
I'm very jacked about all that. Yeah.
Woohoo! Sure.
Yes. I'll let you know how it goes. End of show. Mixes. We have, of course, some Jesse Coy Nelson. We got Rexo without Quozo. Quozo is taking care of his brand new human resource. And we'll kick it off with Nostradamus. And on NoAgendaStream.com, we'll have Grumpy Old Ben's episode 106. Stay tuned for that. And we will return on Thursday if there is still a country left. We haven't burned it all down like everyone's afraid. Certainly douchebags in San Diego. And I'm coming to you from the capital of the Drone Star State, Opportunity Zone 33 here in Austin, Texas. We are in FEMA Region number 6 in case you're looking for it. Please remember us no matter what happens for Thursday by going to Dvorak.org/NA to support the work for our value for value model. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, where I'm going to rename it Douchebag Central, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Thursday again right here on No Agenda. If you can listen live, NoAgendaStream.com. Remember us, Dvorak.org/NA. Happy Election Day, everybody. Until Thursday, adios, mofos! And such.
Trump haters got no reason to live. They got little minds, shifty eyes. They walk around telling big lies, wearing pussy hats, grinding their teeth, telling us how things are going to be. such as I. It's all their fault, CNN compromise. Fake news is why Trump haters got nobody. Trump haters got nobody. Trump haters got nobody to love. They got safe spaces where they run and hide, crying their eyes out, scream at the sky. They got sanctuary fixed up for all. Socialist leaders stopping the wall, kicking off free speech and our guns too, burning our flag on red, white, and blue. Don't want no Trump haters. Don't want no Trump haters. Don't want no Trump haters round here.
Right now, a historic moment. We can now project the winner of the presidential race. CNN projects
Joe Biden
wins the presidency.
I know the man. I know the man personally. I know him well. I know his family. They are all about integrity of service. We love Joe, Uncle Joe.
That's why I got Ukraine. I remember going over convincing our team to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to. Or we're not going to give you the $1 billion.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Some researchers even suggest that severe stress can lead to premature death.
What if the president is incapacitated or worse before the election? And what happens between the election and the Electoral College?
We need to bring you some breaking news. The President of the United States, Joe Biden, has died. President-elect Joe Biden died.
What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen?
I'm back!
Stressed out in election season. Sometimes I wish I was sleeping like the majority of this country, living in Dimension B. And I get so stressed out in election season, no doubt going off the deep end. It's torturing. My screen time's up even on the weekend. I can't seem to put my phone down. I could read this tomorrow. No, I gotta know now. We're living in the greatest movie of all time. I don't wanna miss a scene. I don't wanna slow down. Every fourth Halloween, I don't even dress up, cause every fourth Halloween I become a whole clown. Political junkie, addicted to the news cycle. So excited, waiting for the next to roll out. Man, election season, I hate myself. So embarrassing, I become someone else. Possessed by demons, I should get some help. This has gotta be detrimental to my health. Adam and John, please save me. I feel like the world's trying to drive me crazy. Twice a week is good, but I could use y'all daily. If nothing else, just during election season. Cause I get so stressed out in election season. Sometimes I wish I was sleeping like the majority of this country, living in Dimension B. And I get so stressed out in election season, no doubt going off the deep end. It's torturing. My screen time's up even on the weekend. And when it's over, no matter the conclusion, I will make a bunch of promises to myself that I probably won't keep, like a New Year's resolution. Like next
time, I don't care who is running, I'm not gonna do this. 4 years later at a Sunday service, losing my mind, listening to Kanye tell me that this is the most important election of our lifetime. And you know I'm right back in it. I will fall victim to election season, just a slave to the system, listening to no agenda, break it down with a never-ending wisdom, thinking, what if this country gave in to that Kanye vision? I could think of worse directions to be driven. When Trump won, that was such a break in tradition, to make the decision to run away from these lifelong politicians. I'm already getting so stressed out in election season. Sometimes I wish I was sleeping, like the majority of this country, living in Dimension B. And I get so stressed out in election season, no doubt going off the deep end. It's torturing, my screen time's up even on the weekend.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Doing your thing.
Turn down your goddamn radio! Please remember, when calling the Nick the Rat Show, turn down your goddamn radio. This message has been brought to you by the No Agenda Stream and producers like you. You are listening to NoAgendaStream.com, the best source of music, talk, and infotainment in the universe. NoAgendaStream.com. Up next, Hookers and Blow.
Hit me with a BEM rant.